And silence is acquiescing to those people's behavior. It is incumbent upon every single one of us to understand that we cannot remain silent in the face of anti-Semitism. At an event in Bedminster less than a month ago, we spoke that it is safer for a Jewish student in a college to walk down the streets of Abu Dhabi with a kippah than it is to walk in our hallowed institutions, or our so-called hallowed institutions, of Columbia, Harvard, Penn, UCLA, USC, and the list is unbelievably long. How can that be? We cannot remain silent. Leading that cause, and before people want to equate peace, and they scream about peace, as Americans, we understand from our history that to end a war, you need to win the war. And to win the war, it only ends when there is a victor of good versus evil. Good must triumph over evil. The only way that good will triumph over evil is when Israel, on the front lines of America's security, because those who chant death to Israel, the second sentence is death to America. We have to understand that Israel is the front line in our battle of anti-Semitism, but we are fighting that same battle here on the shores of America. Our founding fathers promised America with religious liberty and freedom and justice for all. All includes Jews, no matter what part or affiliation they have. We are all united and we are all Jewish. The Nazis did not discriminate whether someone was Orthodox or non-Orthodox, whether a Jewish child was disabled or not disabled. There was no discrimination. You were Jewish, we hated you. That behavior is becoming norm in this country, and that is unacceptable. Israel is only secure when it has the strength to be able to be secure. The Grand Rabbi of Lubavitch spoke about the concept of peace is only established when there are strong nations and strong countries that are able to make certain that there is a deterrent. We are blessed tonight. You will be hearing from two incredible leaders. It's my privilege tonight to introduce a woman who is at the forefront of the battle for keeping the Jewish faith, keeping tradition, letting students understand their history of being Jewish, explaining that Israel is a state, a Jewish state, that must have its security. She is also one of America's leading businesswomen. She is a patriot of both countries. She is known as a friend to many in this room. To me, she is the beacon of what a businesswoman, what a Jewish woman who cares deeply about her faith, deeply about America, deeply about Israel, and together with her husband impacted America and Israel in so many ways that are public and so many more ways that are not. It is my privilege to introduce tonight Dr. Miriam Adelson.
So as you guys know, it's just 7 o'clock now, 7:01. I jumped the shark. I had just wanted to jump in there. This man was talking, and I just felt that, he was really saying some words we needed to hear. Miriam Adelson's going to speak right now. I'm going to let her speak too. Trump's going to come up after her, and then we'll take some comments. Miriam Adelson, if you don't know, is a widow who is married to Sheldon Adelson, I believe what his name was, from Las Vegas, owns a bunch of casinos, lots of money, and she's given Trump like $100 million. So let's listen to Miriam, and I'm not going to interrupt her.
To walk with your kippah in school. Stand straight. My husband had a poster in his office, and this was one of the impressive things in my life in his office. Just a painting of a guy standing like this. And it says, stand up for what you believe in, even if you stand up alone. Guys, from all my heart, I'm telling you, start going with the kippah. Go with your Magen David. Don't pay attention to others. And more people would join you. Oh, that's nice. That's nice, he's already. But go in college, group of people, and stand up for them. And many Jews would join you. And even non-Jews would start wearing kippah and be with you because they are smart and on the right side. So it's so. Have you been in Taglit? Who has been in Taglit? Show me. How many people of you? Not enough. 2? 3? Okay. I have connection in Taglit. And another one. Okay. So you get my email. Anybody from you that have any difficulties, because you have to register, to put some down payment, small, you get it back afterwards, and you get 10 days of visit and learning the truth about your roots. And I'm sure when you come back, you walk proudly all over with a kippah and proud to be Jews. Because when you learn your roots, you learn a lot. You are connected to something in the ground, and you are a better person. I meet a lot of Jewish kids in Jewish events, and they come to us, we have a line, and everybody say, it changed my life. So many times that I say, ICML. Everybody ICML. It changed my life. One day, one of our friends, who was a congressman, sent his daughter to Israel to birthright. So I told him, you'll see when she comes back, it will change her life. So we are talking with him, and he says, we ask him, well, did she say it changed my life? He say no. So we look down, so sad. And then he say, he wants to make Aliyah to Israel. Okay, so go there. And the most important thing, don't pay attention to them. They cannot kill you. No maximum, learn a little bit self-defense, okay? But really, I am going all my life with my Magen David, and I stand up. Yes, I have security, but you don't know. I'm in Iran calendar and here calendar. You never know. You have to be, one of the most important things in my life is to be proud of what I am. And I am proud Jew, Israeli American, and continue to be there. So another small version that I want to tell you, I want to thank the people that organized this event, and especially to Ed Russo, Yehuda Kaplun, and his lovely son, Moshe Kaplun. And here I'm starting the speech that I prepared yesterday, all day, because we have another speech to ISC. So we Jews are all brothers and sisters, though it may not always feel that way. Religious or secular, liberal or conservative, white collar, blue collar, Ashkenazi or Sephardic. At the end of the day, despite our differences and disagreements, we are a big Meshuganer family. Like siblings who go their separate ways, but reunite in time of joy or hardship. We are responsible for one another. When it matters, we look out for each other. This is because of our shared traditions, beliefs, experiences, and goals. Our sense of destiny as a community that spans the generations and the globe. It is also because history has not always been kind to us. By surviving persecution, genocide, and discrimination, we learned that we are few in numbers, but mighty when we march together with faith in our values and our vision. My friends, right now, right here, in this great United States, we are at such a moment. It may not seem that way. Being an American Jew, like being any American, is a wonderful privilege. I know this as a native-born Israeli who became U.S. citizen after marrying Sheldon, Zichrono Livracha, my beloved husband. Thank you. The security and prosperity and pride that this country offers are simply miraculous, a godsend. But we cannot take it for granted. The world is changing fast, and not always for the better. Division and confusion are lapping at the shores of this magnificent nation, eroding the common bonds of American strength and decency. It has given rise to open and ugly antisemitism, something none of us dreamt we should see here in our lifetime. And as the brave students in the audience know, it has turned supposedly elite university into propaganda factories where Jews are not welcome. It also threatens to undermine the U.S. alliance, a source of stability for both countries, at a time when so much of the Middle East is in chaos, when the Jewish state is in a fight for its life. My friends, my brothers and sisters, all of this should be on our mind ahead of November 5th. And you should already have made up your mind on who to vote for. Donald J. Trump. I am talking tachlis. You bet I am. Tachlis doesn't only mean bottom line or brass tacks. It comes from the Hebrew word tachlit, which means purpose. We Jews are a purposeful people, and President Trump is purposeful man. He is a true friend of the Jewish people. He has helped craft Jewish faith and preserve Jewish continuity. It's not just because he is the father of a beautiful Jewish woman, Ivanka, and the grandfather of her beautiful Jewish children, Jared. It is also because he recognizes the justice of our 2,000-year-old cause. He understands it instinctively in his kishkes. He sees a United States of America and an entire world that have gained so much from this tiny nation of Israel, and he says to himself, I like what I see. This is a president who keeps his promises. He promised to recognize Jerusalem as the Israeli capital. Promise kept. He promised to recognize the Golan Heights as Israeli territory. Promise kept. To rip up the disastrous nuclear Iranian deal. Promise kept. And to bring more peace to the Middle East. Promise kept. And once back in the White House, he will also keep his promise to help Israel win the current war without hesitation, without worrying about what the rest of the world might think. Because Trump does what is right, straight and simple. Tachlis. That's all we Jews are asking for. And that's why all of us Jews must vote for him. It is our sacred duty, in gratitude for everything he has done and trust in everything he will yet do. So now, are you ready to hear some tachlis from the man himself? Please join me in giving a warm Philadelphia welcome from the student from Philadelphia, full of brotherly love for our friends, our president, and our brother, Donald J. Trump. You are good. You are the best.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Miriam. I don't know if you know it, it's a great lady. This is a great lady. This is a great one. Thank you, Miriam. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everybody. All right, let's sit down. Let's talk about Israel, or Israel, as they say. I love the pronunciation. I love it. But you really are, you're a great lady, a great woman, my friend, and I've known you and Sheldon for a long time. We lost Sheldon, and nobody like him, right? You would say that. Nobody like him, but nobody like you either. And he's very proud of you right now. Thank you very much. And I'd also like to thank Rabbis Yehuda Kaplun and Yaakov Kaplun, Senators Rick Scott, doing well. Where's Rick? Where's Rick? He's doing well. I saw Paul, and another one who's doing well is Ted Cruz. Ted, stand up, Ted. Thank you, Ted. Thank you. And Lindsay doesn't have to do well because he's got another few years to go before he runs. It's something nice about that. But Lindsey Graham is terrific, terrific guy. Bill Haggerty, who's fantastic. Bill, thank you very much.
Everybody let me know how the sound is. Is it too loud? Is it okay?
Ernst, where's Joni Ernst? Joni, thank you very much, Joni. Great, doing a great job. Those farmers love Joni. I'll tell you, she was tough, right? With you. She came to see me, and I thought I made a deal, and then she said, no, we want more. But that's what you're supposed to have, right?
Good job, Joni. And you got it. Former Senator Norm Coleman. Norm, thank you. Thank you, Norm. You look good. And a spectacular person, Elise Stefanik. Spectacular. What she did to that woman at Harvard with the big fat glasses. That woman had no idea what was happening. That was beautiful to watch, actually. A friend of mine, Carlos Jimenez. Carlos, thank you, Carlos. Got a lot of power here. There's a lot of power here. You know, this is like the old days. Because frankly, there's been a movement going on. I call it AOC +3, but the +3 is a lot more. And we have to end that. We have to end it. We have to end it fast. I've never seen anything like it. John Carter, please. John, where's John? Thank you, John. Thank you very much. Good job. Mario Diaz-Balart. Mario, thank you. Thank you, Mario. Byron Donalds. Boy, he's a popular guy. He is, and he's a great guy with a great future. Good. I didn't see you back there. You didn't. He has so many pictures with me. He didn't need a picture. He doesn't want another picture. Ronnie Jackson. What a great guy. Think of this. He was an admiral, a great admiral, respected by everybody. Then he became the White House doctor, took care of maybe Bush a little bit, and Obama, right? And then Trump. And they asked him, who's the most healthy of the group? And he said, not even a contest. Who? Trump. Trump. In fact, he said Trump would live for 200 years if he didn't eat junk food. I don't know if I like that, but that was okay. Great doctor. Now he's a really popular congressman, and he's our friend. And when I had a little ear problem, he was there. He literally came from Texas, and he did a great job, and I appreciate it very much, Ron. Thank you. Because once you're a doctor, you're always a doctor, even if you're a congressman, I guess, right? Don't you think? Somebody who's been really spectacular, especially for the last few months. I don't know what happened to him, but boy, he likes me a lot better now than he used to. Michael Lawler. Am I correct in that? Where's Michael? Right? Something happened. But he likes me better now than he used to, and I like that because he's a good man, great man. Mike Flood. Mike, thank you. Virginia Fox. Virginia. Thank you, Virginia. Michael Waltz, who's doing a great job in defending all of us on television. He's doing a great job on television. And a spectacular woman, a beautiful woman. I'm not allowed to say that anymore because, you know, it usually puts you out of politics, but I've said much worse than that. But she's a beautiful woman, and she really is the most incredible family. And she came to me about endorsing someone in her area who had no chance, and I said, okay, we'll do it, against an incumbent Republican that I didn't like very much and probably didn't like me. So we took a chance, Mary, didn't we? Mary Miller, we took a chance, and our candidate won in a landslide, right? So that was great. We don't like having to do that, but in that case, we had no choice. Ambassador Lana Marks, who was terrific. Thank you, Lana. Good job. You did a great job as ambassador. West Virginia Treasurer Riley Moore. Thank you, Riley. Thank you. Going on to very big things, actually. Jacob Hellberg. Jacob, thank you. Thank you, Jacob. Great job. Somebody who's very talented, knows a lot about a lot at a very young age. Morgan Ortegas. Morgan. Thank you, darling. And also somebody who defends me so well, Elizabeth Pipko. Elizabeth? Wow, I watched you last night, Elizabeth. You were brutal to this other person. They didn't have a chance last night, Elizabeth. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. We need all the defense we can get. And a friend of mine and a man who's actually a great environmentalist. He really is a great one. And he wrote a book on Donald Trump as a great environmentalist, which is actually true, but a lot of people don't know that. But I'm an environmentalist with common sense. I like buildings to have windows. You know, they'd like to close up all windows. The building should be built 90 stories tall, but that doesn't matter, but can't have any windows. The things they're doing with the Green New scam is just unbelievable. 97 trillion. How can we do that, Ted? I think that's very doable. 97 trillion. Most people don't know what that means. Nobody knows. Nobody's ever heard of a number. To do the Green New scam the way they want it. 97, that's more than China, the United States, and every country in the world for the next 200 years has. But they go along with it anyway. But he's a great gentleman and a friend of mine, Ed Russo. Where is Ed? I'll tell you, that's great that Ed is here. Wow. Before we begin, I just want to mention some polls that just came out, and I've decided to go back to doing this because they never release the polls when they're good. And they've been really good, and they don't release them. And unless one comes out, they had one that came out the other day where they interviewed 51% Democrat, 22% Republican. Trump's down by 6. I said, how the hell can you win on a poll like that? When you're down by they interview 40% more Democrats, and then they say, if you're down by 6, that means you're actually winning by about 15. But we don't go with that, but we do go with the respected polls, and we go with polls because they don't want to release them because they've all been pretty good. In the very, very, I think, accurate poll over the last 9 or 10 years, I think Rasmussen's been really one of the best, and it was just released a little while ago. I'm leading by 8 points against a woman that you cannot allow to happen. I mean, honestly, you are generally Jewish people. We have a lot of good Christians there that love Israel, by the way. In many ways, they love Israel more than Jewish people love Israel, which is shocking, but nevertheless, we'll take it, right? We have a lot of great Christians that love Israel, but we're up by 8 with Rasmussen. We're at 52 to 44, so that's a big one. And we're up by 11 with independents in Rasmussen also. Just came out. That's a lot because, as you know, Rick Scott, we were talking about it a little while, and independents are very important. And when you're up by that number, that's a pretty good thing. Then the Emerson poll, highly respected. We're up in Arizona. We're up in Wisconsin. And we're up substantially in Pennsylvania. And those are the 3 that they did. And in the New York Times poll even, which is shocking because, I wouldn't say they love me. I wouldn't say I love them either. But I'm up by 9 in the Midwest. That's a big one. And the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, we're up by at least 3 in Georgia. And CNN has us up. I love seeing like a CNN, and then we're up. So if you're up 5, you're probably up 20 or something. But in CNN, we're up 5 in Arizona. The Daily Express poll has us up 5 in all of the battleground states, which is great. So I say 47 days from now, we're going to defeat Kamala Harris. You have to defeat Kamala Harris. More than any other people on earth, Israel, I believe, has to defeat her. You know that? And I've never said this before. I'm thinking, Miriam, more than any people on earth, Israel has to defeat her. I really believe that it's a disaster for Israel. And you know why, and you've heard her statements. We're going to take back our country, and we're going to make Israel great again, and we're going to make America great again. We're going to make them both great again, greater than ever before. We've gathered today to talk about the scourge of anti-Semitism tonight. We're 2 weeks away from the 1-year anniversary of the worst attack on the Jewish people since the Holocaust. Without question, on October 7th, which would have never happened if I was president, by the way, I have to always preface it by saying it would have never, ever happened. Innocent men, women, children, and babies were tortured, maimed, kidnapped, and killed. It was an amazing sight, especially if you were able to see, and you don't want to necessarily see it, some of the tapes and film that was made of the atrocity. It was a wake-up call for the entire world, and you have to take it that it is a wake-up call. Get smart. Instead, even here in America, Jewish citizens have been forced to endure the worst outbreak of anti-Semitism in many generations. And so many people shockingly even deny the attack took place. This is a new thing. I saw it recently where they're interviewing people, they said, well, we don't know if there was an attack. I don't know. It's just so terrible. And, you know, there were people I read many times during the Holocaust, we had people denying it. They were deniers. They said, we don't believe it ever took place. And it's a terrible thing when they say that. I never thought I would see anything like what is happening right now. I never thought you'd ever see a thing like this ever happen. It's beyond belief. You know, 15 years ago, Israel was the strongest lobby, if you want to use the word lobby, had the strongest representation of people like this. These are great people, Miriam. But the strongest there was, if you said something about a Jewish person or something about Israel that was bad, you were out of politics. Unless your name was Ted Cruz, he could get through. I think Ted could get through, but maybe not. Maybe even Ted. But it's true. You said something about Israel that was bad. It was like, today, you have to fight. We all have to fight for Israel. I am so surprised to see it, but we're going to win the fight, so don't worry about it, okay? We'll win the fight. There are those that say it's very much like a long time ago when you could say anything, but all across our land you've seen Jewish Americans harassed and attacked and terrorized by anti-Semites and Hamas sympathizers. I can't believe what we've been witnessing over the last year. Actually, I've watched it in great detail. I've watched it, and I've watched it take place. It's hard to believe. Yet, despite presiding over this explosion of anti-Semitism, Kamala Harris has done absolutely nothing. She has not lifted a single finger to protect you or to protect your children or to even protect you with words. I'm here today to tell the Jewish American community that this ugly tide of anti-Semitic, pro-Hamas bigotry and hate will be turned back and crushed starting at noon on January 20th, 2025. Thank you. Thank you. It will be a bright new day for the Jewish community in America. No longer will you have to walk the streets in fear. You're walking the streets in fear. Can you believe it? Young college students are afraid to go to college. It's not something that anybody thought they would ever hear or see. No longer will you be threatened on your college campuses. No longer will you be discriminated against in college admissions. And no longer will your own government import jihadists from places that we don't even want to talk about. And they want Jew haters from overseas, and they let them come in and resettle in your communities right here at home, and nobody's ever seen anything like it. My promise to Jewish Americans is this: with your vote, I will be your defender, your protector, and I will be the best friend Jewish Americans have ever had in the White House. You know that. Thank you. But in all fairness, I already am. I think I already am. I don't have to think. In fact, I already am. I am the best defender you've had as president by far. I think there'd be no question. Miriam mentioned 4 or 5 of the things. Those, each individual thing. Oh, her husband would drive me crazy. You have to do this. You have to do that. You don't know what I had to put up with. She was like the calming influence. I said, Sheldon, I can't do that. It's too much. He said, no. And every time I got something, he'd immediately start with something else, right? He'd get something, always fighting for Israel and the Jewish people. But, you know, I had such great respect for him. It's true, though. She had to sometimes tell him, calm down. You just had a big victory. Let's celebrate. No, we have to immediately start. Let's see if we can do Golan Heights. How about Golan Heights? They've been trying to get it for 72 years. I got it done in about 15 minutes, okay? So. Even Sheldon couldn't believe that one, I'll tell you. Even Sheldon couldn't believe that one. He said, we just got Golan Heights. They didn't even ask for it. I actually gave you that one. You didn't ask for it, but I thought it was important. Ground zero for the outbreak of the anti-Jewish hate under Kamala Harris has been our college campuses. At UCLA a few months ago, Marxist thugs dressed up like terrorists and created, quote, Jew exclusion zones, blocking Jewish students from entering parts of the campus. Can you imagine that? A week after the October 7th attack on Israel, anti-Semites at Miami University in Ohio sent Jewish students and staff an email that said, quote, the best Jew is a dead Jew, end of quote. This is stuff that's not even thinkable. And the colleges do nothing about it, too. Most of them. At Baruch College, a mob of Hamas supporters targeted a group of innocent Jewish freshmen at a welcoming dinner, shouted slurs and mocked them for the death of Jewish hostages in Israel. At Princeton University, radical activists displayed the Hezbollah flag very proudly. At Columbia, you watched that along with everybody else. It was terrible. They took control of the school buildings, these magnificent buildings. They beat the hell out of them, by the way. And the campus became so dangerous for Jewish students at the university, rabbi told them, please go home, go home. A Yale professor called October 7th an extraordinary day. It was a great day, he said. A Cornell professor said that these heinous attacks were, quote, exhilarating and energizing to everyone. Kamala Harris said that the radical demonstrators on college campuses were, quote, human emotion should be this way. This is her message. This is somebody that's among two people. So we started off with 350 million. Of course, we really don't know how many people we have in the country anymore. They're coming in so fast at the border. Many criminals, many from jails, prisons, many from mental institutions, from insane asylums, terrorists. They're pouring in at levels we've never seen before. And she was the border czar. She now says she wasn't, but she was still in charge of the border. She's the one that did it. And I will tell you, the message that she gave is wrong. It's dangerous, and it's unbefitting a candidate for the president of the United States. So think of it. Let's assume 350 million. We're down to 2. I told our great First Lady the other day, well, we're down to 2, and now we're leading in the polls by, I think, a lot. I'm calling on Kamala Harris to officially disavow the support of all Hamas sympathizers, anti-Semites, Israel haters on college campuses and everywhere else. So I'm calling on her to do that, just disavow. But she won't do it. You know that. She's not going to do it. She's going to talk. She's going to talk about nothing, talk about the weather. And sadly, and I have to say this, and it hurts me to say it, you're going to still vote for Democrats, and it doesn't make sense. I say all the time that any Jewish person that votes for her, especially now, her or the Democrat Party, should have their head examined. It's true. And, you know, I just find it so hard to believe, and part of it is habit, I guess. And respectfully, with all that I've done, I'll maybe go over it quickly, but Miriam did it better than I could, all the different things with Golan, with all of the things that we did. And really, the one thing we didn't mention is I terminated the Iran nuclear deal. And that is, I think, the biggest of them all. But the problem is we could have had a deal, any deal we wanted. Michael knows that better than anybody. But Biden and Harris, and nobody knows it. You know, when you say Harris, people say, who's Harris? You have to say Kamala, because nobody knows who the hell Harris is. That's her last name. But nobody knows it. Isn't it weird? How's Harris doing? Who the hell is Harris? How's Kamala doing? Oh, isn't it as weird? I never saw anything like it, so we'll just call it Kamala. But you really, when you think about it, it's amazing that you're such nice people, because a lot of people wouldn't allow that to happen. We're joined today by several dozen Jewish American students from colleges across America. Thank you all for being here. And here's what I will do to defeat anti-Semitism and defend our Jewish citizens in America. My first week back in the Oval Office, my administration will inform every college president that if you do not end anti-Semitic propaganda, they will lose their accreditation and federal taxpayer support. Thank you. Truth is, you don't have to do much after that. When you do that, it's going to work miracles. Please sit down. We will not subsidize the creation of terrorist sympathizers, and we're not going to do it certainly on American soil. We're not going to do it anywhere. Next, I will inform every educational institution in our land that if they permit violence, harassment, or threats against Jewish students, the schools will be held accountable for violations of the civil rights law. Very important. Jewish Americans must have equal protection under the law. They're going to get it. At the same time, my administration will move swiftly to restore safety for Jewish students and Jewish people on American streets. Jews have been beaten on their way to synagogue in Los Angeles just recently, beaten on their way. Jewish American businesses have been vandalized, yet once again, the Harris-Biden administration has done absolutely nothing about it, doesn't even comment. Here in Washington, radical Hamas supporters tore down the American flag in front of Union Station, set it on fire, and hoisted the Palestinian flag, while police officers and they were spray painting at police officers and at the beautiful monuments surrounding the area and the flag, lions, people. And it was being in the construction business, this is a stone, it's limestone, that when you spray paint limestone, you'll see it in 100 years. They can take it off, but they can't really take it off. You'll see everything that they said in 100 years. It's a very porous stone. And what they've done is unbelievable. But I don't see them getting long sentences in prison like happened to other people. I don't see them even being approached or attacked in any way. They allow them to do it. But watch those limestones. I looked at them the other day, and that stone just sucks up that paint. It goes deep. You're going to see it in 100 years from now. Kamala Harris, let them go. She said, let them go. I will end this political violence and harassment once and for all. You know, when I was president, we had a moment where Washington was, in a sense, being attacked. They were trying to pull down statues, and I pulled out about an 1897 statute, very important, and it said that anybody touching, ripping down, or even trying to rip down a monument or a statue in the Capitol or anywhere else in the land up to the president will get 10 years in jail. No probation, no nothing. It's 10 years. It's not 10 years, but you serve 3 days. It's 10 years and you serve all 10 years. You couldn't get a thing like that passed today, I don't think. What do you think, Ted? Not too easily. If you got 2 days, it would be a miracle. No, it's 10 years. It was so old. I lifted up this. It was old and dusty, but it read beautifully. And I invoked it, and I had a speech. I said, here's the story. Anybody touching a statue, and it ended when they had Abraham Lincoln ready to be pulled over. You remember that. I said, Abraham Lincoln, now we're hitting Lincoln. And I read it, and I told people that anybody from this moment on that pulls down anything or even tries to pull down a statue, you go into jail for 10 years. And it was an amazing sight, Miriam. Everybody just dropped the ropes. The ropes were left. They dropped the ropes and they started walking out of town. I was watching thousands of asses from the back. And it was a beautiful sight. It was a beautiful sight. It was a beautiful sight. They just started walking in a different direction, and that was the last of the problem we had. Remember the big problems we were having? They actually wanted to rip down Thomas Jefferson Memorial. They didn't like Jefferson. They didn't like Washington. They didn't like Lincoln. They didn't like anybody. I will oppose, and I will make sure that you're protected. I will oppose all of the horrible things that they're thinking of doing, and they are thinking of doing bad things. It's not believable. I will also secure our borders from dangerous anti-American and anti-Semitic hate. Not only has Kamala thrown open our southern border, and again, she was in charge of your border. Now she's trying to say, well, I wasn't really the border czar. I never heard her disavow border czar before. But open to terrorists and criminals, she's supported unlimited migration from terrorist hotbeds into the United States, especially some of the hotbeds that most hate Israel. Under border czar Harris, armies of foreign Hamas sympathizers now march brazenly through our cities. They're literally marching in our cities, and they came from some very vicious, violent parts of the world, and they do not like Jewish people, and they do not like Israel, and they've let that be known, and we are not going to tolerate it. I will not let what happened to Paris, what happened to London, and what's happening to them, too, by the way. That's not over. What happened to Brussels happened here in America. It's not going to happen. We will deport the foreign jihad sympathizers and Hamas supporters from our midst. We will get them out of our country. I will ban refugee resettlement from terror-infested areas like the Gaza Strip. And we will seal our border and bring back the travel ban. Remember the famous travel ban? We didn't take people from certain areas of the world because I didn't want to have people ripping down and burning our shopping centers and killing people. But we're not taking them from infested countries. We will quickly rebuild the greatest economy in the history of the world for Jewish Americans and for all Americans. It will happen very quickly. We will defeat inflation, cut energy costs in half, and we will have something that some people in this room would be interested in, and frankly, some won't. But I'll say it anyway because you got those television cameras blaring. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security benefits for our seniors. That's a good one for this room. This room likes that last one. And to help Americans who are buried in crushing credit card debt under the Kamala Harris economy, we will have a temporary 10% cap on credit card interest rates because they're paying 20 and 25% and they're getting decimated. So it'll be a temporary 10% cap. But look, this is the most important election in the history of the United States, and it's also the most important election in the history of Israel. The United States election is the most important election in the history of Israel, actually, if you think about it. How crazy does that sound? But it's true. With all I have done for Israel, I received only 24% of the Jewish vote. Now think of this. I really haven't been treated very well, but that's the story of my life. It's true. Think of it. But I understood that because I wasn't really tested. I wasn't a politician, and I won, but I understood that. And then I became president and was the best president ever for the people of Israel and for Jewish people, the best president ever. And I did more for them than any president has, and probably any president can do or will do, other than the current situation that's coming up, because I have a feeling that maybe that's going to be more than anything that was even done in the past, if you want to know the truth, because I think Israel's in big trouble. But I gave them, as Miriam said, Golan Heights. I gave them the Abraham Accords, which is amazing. Nobody thought that was possible. 4 strong, powerful countries signed. Think of it. I would have had every country signed. I might have even had Iran signed, okay? As crazy as that sounds. You're kidding. You know that, Michael. I might have even had that. But we had peace in the Middle East. When I left, we had peace in the Middle East, but I had the Abraham Accords. And it was something that if Obama had done it, that would have been any prize. You named the prize, but they would have had every single prize ever devised by man. I did it. Nobody said a thing. And that's okay. I do the right thing. And I was helped a lot by Jared and a lot of other people that really understood what was going on. But I recognized the capital of Israel and opened the embassy in Jerusalem and got it built. Not just had it there. You know, the generals came in one of my days in office. They said, "Sir, could you sign this? What is it?" It said, "Order for $2 billion to be spent on a embassy that would have cost much more." I said, "Where's the land?" "We don't have it yet, sir, but we have a couple of terrible sites under negotiation." I'm good at real estate. These were bad locations in Jerusalem. I said, "Do we have anything? Let us look, sir." And they do. They had a site that was better than anything we had, a much better location, and we have it for nothing. So far I'm doing a good job. Then I said, "Is there a building on it?" "Yes, there is, but it's not in use." I said, "Is it structurally sound?" "Oh, yes, very strong, very structurally sound." "Is it setback?" Because you want setbacks for embassies for things called bombs. "Yes, it's setback, and it's on high. It's one of the best locations." I said, "So we have it." So I dealt with David Friedman. I said, "David, how much would it cost to renovate the building? Give me a good price." And he came back and said $400,000. I said, "David, that's too low." This is the only time I've ever said this. Usually I say, "It's too high, cut him in half." This time I said, "That's crazy. From $2 billion, think of it, to $400,000. And I said, "That's too low, we got to spend more." And we ended up spending a little bit more than that, very little. And a friend of mine has, a couple of you have heard this, Jerusalem stone in his office building. And every time I walk by the elevator bank, he says, "Look at this stone. It's Jerusalem stone, so expensive." And I said to him, very successful guy, very rich guy, and he was complaining about the price. "It's Jerusalem." But every time, after 20 times, I said, "Don't tell me it's Jerusalem stone again." Right on the elevator bank, beautiful stone, Jerusalem stone. So I'm there and I say, "Listen, by any chance," talking to one of the contractors, I said, "Do you think you could use Jerusalem stone? Is it expensive?" "No, it's cheap as hell. We're in Jerusalem." And we built the whole building out of Jerusalem stone. And we did it very inexpensively, got it opened in about 4 or 5 months. You would still be talking about your $2 billion building, Ted. That building would be under talk for about 5 more years, and then they'd spend $5 billion and it would look like hell. This building is better. You'll never do better. Someday they'll rip it down and do some monster. But I was very proud we got it built. And most importantly of all, in my opinion, because I asked, what's the best? Golan Heights, is it? Is it Jerusalem, the capital, moving the embassy and all of that? What is the best? What's the best? Is it the Abraham Accords? And some friends of mine that are very smart, no, not even close. The best thing you ever did for Israel is you terminated the Iran nuclear deal, which was the worst deal ever made for Israel or for any country. That was the best. That's true. That was more important. Remember, that was more important than any of the other things, of the many other things that we did. The problem is that Harris, Kamala, and Biden did absolutely nothing with it. You could have made after the election, which we had a very bad thing happen with that election. Think of it. If that election were proper, you wouldn't have had Russia attacking Ukraine. You wouldn't have had October 7th. Would have never happened because, as you know, Iran had no money at that time. None. Zero. Nothing. They had no money to fund. There were stories about it, that there was no money for terror. You wouldn't have had inflation. You wouldn't have had that horrible leaving of Afghanistan in such a way, not the leaving because we were ready to leave. We would have left before them, but we were leaving with strength and dignity. That was the worst. I think it was the lowest day, the most embarrassing day in the history of our country. Because of that, probably that's why Putin went in. He would have never gone in with me, though. But all of these things, and on top of everything else, I gave them more than $20 billion, Israel. And I said, when I did it, I said, I'm the best friend they ever had. And still, in 2020, so remember, I got 25%. Now I did all of these things, and I got 29%. Think of it. So I wasn't treated right. But it's not me that's been treated badly. It's Israel, because you can make a big difference in the vote. You're going to be a big factor in the vote. I will say places like Miami and different places were great. But honestly, I went from 25 to 29, and based on what I did and based on my love of the same love that you have, I should be at 100. I should be at 100, but let me give you the bad news. A poll, I just told you how good the polls are, but we need every vote we can get. The current polling has me with Jewish citizens, Jewish people that's supposed to love Israel. After having done all of that, having been the best president, the greatest president by far, a poll just came out. I'm at 40%. That means you got 60% voting for somebody that hates Israel. And I say it's going to happen. It's only because of the Democrat hold or curse on you. You can't let this happen. 40% is not acceptable because we have an election to win. So after all of this, I went from 29 to 40%. And people that are smart said to me, friend of mine Jewish, friend of mine loves Israel, loves everything about your religion and about your country, your place. He said, I can't believe it's happening. It's sad. And he started to cry, actually. He started to cry. With all of this, and he's a tough cookie. I don't think he cried since he was a little tiny baby. Maybe then I don't think he cried. I don't think he cried then, Miriam. But I will put it to you very simply and gently. I really haven't been treated right, but you haven't been treated right because you're putting yourself in great danger, and the United States hasn't been treated right. So if I don't win this election, and I've been very good, they say Trump's been right about everything. I've been right about a lot of things. Even Ted will admit that. I've been right about a lot of things that a lot of people said, no, that won't happen, but a lot of bad things happened, and some good things I've been right about too. And I only want to be, so I'm not going to call this as a prediction, but in my opinion, the Jewish people would have a lot to do with a loss. If I'm at 40%, if I'm at 4, think of it, that means 60% are voting for Kamala, who in particular is a bad Democrat. The Democrats are bad to Israel, very bad. They'll never change because they have a section of their party now which has become amazingly and quickly very powerful, vote-wise. I mean, Chuck Schumer is a Palestinian. Who would have thought that was going to happen? What the hell happened to him? I saw him the other day. He was dressed in one of their robes. That'll be next. No, Chuck Schumer is Hamas all the way. I don't know what the hell happened to him. If you support him, you're crazy. I have never seen, his change may be bigger than Kamala on fracking in Pennsylvania, okay? But if we don't win this election, Israel, in my opinion, within a period of 2 to 3 years will cease to exist. It's going to be wiped out. That's what's going to happen. It's a tough thing to say, but what difference does it make from my standpoint? I have to tell you the truth, and maybe you'll be energized because there's no way that I should be getting 40% of the vote. I'm the one that's protecting you. These are the people that are going to destroy you, and you have 60% of the Jewish people essentially voting for them. If I do win, Israel will be safe and secure, and we will stop the toxic poison of anti-Semitism from spreading all over America and all over the world. We'll get it stopped. But if I don't win, I believe Israel will be eradicated, and you can't let that happen, and I don't think you will let that happen. So you have to, Rabbi, you have to get everybody together, and you have to get them to vote, because it's craziness to say, I'm at 40%. And when I heard that number today, it just came out today, when I heard that number today, I think it was insulting to our country. It was insulting to Israel. It's very interesting. They did a poll in Israel. I'm like at 99% favorable. I could run for, right now, I could run for any office in Israel. In Israel, they love me. Here, not so much. But they do love me in Israel. Miriam, I'm at 99%. Everybody loves me. I could run for prime minister. Would you like me as your prime minister? But I have to learn your language. That's a tough language to learn. I have to learn it in about 3 months. I have to learn it very quickly. But no, I'm most popular person in Israel. But here it doesn't translate. It's a strange thing. So we have to save Israel. Look, you're here for a reason. We have to save Israel. This is no longer games. This is no longer games. This is the saving of Israel. And I'm going to mention it. We're making a big statement in a little while at another conference, also very important. And I'm going to mention it again and again. I believe that Israel will be wiped off the face of the earth if I don't win. And that's a big statement. That's a horrible statement to make. And it's just the way I feel. And a lot of people in this room agree with me. Because look at what's happened in the last 2 years. I have never seen anything like it, where something has gone so down so fast, where even Jewish people are protesting in these groups. They're Jewish people. People wearing yarmulkes are in these groups that are protesting with 100,000 people. So they have to change their way, because with your vote, you can reject anti-Semitism in our schools, in our communities, in our foreign policy, and in our immigration system. But all of that starts by rejecting Kamala Harris at the ballot box. She is anti-Israel and she is anti-Jewish, and you got to get smart to it. And with that, I have great love and great respect for so many of the people in the room. I have so many friends in this room. I fought so hard for you. But it's time that you fight the real fight. And the real fight is to save Israel. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Now, I understand he's going to be talking at another event. I don't know if it's across the street or a different room.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much.
So I'll stick with it off screen to see where he's headed. But it's kind of weird, watching the chat, and I see some Trump supporters. Hold on, let me see if they say where he's going. No, they're not. And I see some Trump supporters who basically are upset. They don't like it. They have a problem with Israel, and I don't know what to tell you in that regard. I am staunchly behind and support the Israeli people. You have to. If I guess if you're a Christian, you understand the importance of Israel. But obviously some people don't. Some people think that, it's just another country that we end up sending money to and don't really understand what we're doing there. So let me go ahead and take some of these comments here, because there were some people who've been here many times that aren't trolls, but for some reason you talked about Israel, and a lot of people turned into trolls tonight. It was very, very weird. I'm a Christian, so and I'm 100% with Israel. Yeah, that's how I feel as well. Trump has to do what Trump has to do. So are you thinking that he was faking it? Or do you think that he, having lived in New York his entire life, having known and done business with many, many Jewish people, he understands the importance that the Jews mean to this country? And when he was talking about only having 40% approval or support of the Jewish people here in America, a big portion of that is the indoctrinated, gaslit, brainwashed kids in college who have gone to college and just for some reason have not understood what it means to have somebody support you. I mean, think about it. You've got people in college who are sympathizing and are protesting actually the Kamala Harris, and they're protesting them because there's support for Israel, and they chant, free, free, free Palestine and all this stuff. It's like they don't even get it. That would be like me going to a Ku Klux Klan meeting. Go, hey, what's up, bro? Whoa, you guys don't look happy that I'm here. You see, it's easy to do these things on a college campus and you look cool. You know, you're fighting a man, you're painting monuments and you're pulling monuments down and you're carrying a sign. All the while, understanding you're in America. And people, for now anyways, are upholding your First Amendment. And they put up with your BS. Go do that over there. If you think the people you support are going to be happy that you're supporting them, if you're Jewish, go over there. Make sure you sign your insurance policy and or your will before you go. Because your life expectancy is probably going to be, I don't know, a couple days till they find you. When they swooped in on hang gliders on October 7th, they didn't ask, oh, so do you support us back in college? I just want to know before I put a bullet in your head whether or not you support us in college. Because that would mean a lot to us. We'll not take you and your family. Nope. You're Jewish. That was the only qualification. You must die. And I don't understand the same thing with how do I say this delicately? The alternative lifestyle for Palestine. How's that? Did that go? Okay. What do you do about those people? The alternative lifestyle for Palestine. Yeah, fine. Take your sign, but do me a favor. Go over there and see what happens. You may be lucky enough to be the first person that has actually flown as they toss you off the roof. You might be it. I don't know. Maybe some people can fly. But I just don't understand how people here are okay with censorship, understanding that the stuff that you spew here for the people that you supposedly support, you couldn't do it there. They don't want you. I mean, I'm not saying, I hope you guys all understand that. Go ahead, take a flight, all 12 or 13 hours, do what you need to do, and then when you get off the plane, go up and hug your closest Palestinian. Let me know how it works out. Especially if you're a transformer or something. Oh yeah, you might have the top of the list. You might go all the way from, here, coach, to first class on your flight off the building. So when people complain about the Jewish state and the Jewish people, and Israel is bad this or Israel is bad that, understand that they're not the ones, in my estimation, who are the main culprits. What we see often, and we've seen for decades, is F around and find out. I saw AOC put something up today. It was disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. She got railed for it. So when the pagers and cell phones and solar panels started blowing up the other day, she complained that it was Israel's fault that certain people were collateral damage. Now, I don't think she understands what happened on October 7th. There was a lot of damage, and none of it was collateral. It was all intentional. There was babies, little babies. Not one tweet from her about that post. She doesn't tweet at all about that. It made me sick to my stomach. Maybe I should bring some of this stuff up so you guys can see what I'm saying, because it was just incredulous to me watching a sitting member of Congress say the kind of stuff that she said, and people were letting her know, you're a nut job. You're an absolute nut job. Let me see if I can find just even one of them, because so many people were targeting her. All right, so here's one from, obviously it makes sense, from Ben Shapiro. And what Ben Shapiro says to her right here, let me just move that comment so you guys can see. She wrote, Israel's pager attack in Lebanon detonated thousands of handheld devices across a slew of public spaces, seriously injuring and killing innocent civilians. This attack clearly and unequivocally violates international humanitarian law and undermines U.S. efforts to prevent a wider conflict. Congress needs a full accounting of the attack, including an answer from the State Department as to whether any U.S. assistance went into the development or deployment of this technology. And I love the first comment. First comment here is, innocent civilians don't have the pagers of terrorist organizations. Ben Shapiro answered her by saying it's the most targeted anti-terrorist strike in human history. But sure, go on with your pro-Hezbollah propaganda efforts. After all, some of your friends had a rough day. Ouch. Ouch. He's right. You know, there's stuff happening all over the world right now. People are seeing some really bad things happen. But she only sides with that group of people. As long as they're hating on Israel, they don't care. They will be completely for it. So just to let you know, that was like a warm-up speech. I didn't know this. So Trump is about to speak again at the actual Israeli-American conference. That was the warm-up with Miriam Adelson and a close group of supporters and fundraising. The actual speak they're lining up for, so we may be here for a while to see the actual speak on the big stage. The big stage is about to be something where he's going to step out and have a huge audience. I'm looking at this auditorium, and it's pretty big. So we'll stick with it. Hope you guys got some time here. We can keep talking. We can keep going through some different things. But I thought that was the actual speech. That wasn't the actual speech. Somebody, I got to talk to you about this. Mossad makes James Bond look like an amateur. There's a video floating around if you guys want to see it. It's funny. Well, funny to me. I'm not a Hezbollah nut. Somebody said that to Benjamin Netanyahu. They said, "Hey, that was like James Bond style what you guys did." And he had a pair of sunglasses. I don't have mine in here. And he's like, Benjamin Netanyahu. and he did the whole, no, Netanyahu, Benjamin Netanyahu. And I was like, ooh, chilling. Absolutely chilling. Got to do what you got to do. The energy of hate has to be exhausting. I couldn't. Mind-blowing. Yeah. Can you imagine just walking around angry all the time? Can you imagine being one of these libnuts? And what you do, your life is wrapped around grievance, screaming at people at the top of your lungs because they won't do something you want to do. I heard something tonight after all these different unions came together, and not the unions, but the people in the unions, which actually make more sense anyway. The union can't vote. It's the people who vote. So when they were trying to split hairs on CNN and MSNBC, the Teamsters didn't back Trump. Teamsters can't vote. The individuals who are Teamsters are the ones who are voting. And overwhelmingly, they're voting for Trump. So the quote I heard today on CNN, it was a bunch of liberals. Hey, Mike, chill. And they're talking. And they get to the conservative guy, and he's like, you got Teamsters, you got UAW people, you got men in the Midwest who are aligning with Trump. Men, you know what men used to be? Men. Meanwhile, you got these, the future is women t-shirt wearing people like Tim Walz, who are for Kamala Harris. Real men. The people who want to provide for and defend families, those men who don't want to see 60% of their money going to taxes or to, crazy things like shrimp on a treadmill, men who don't want their daughters playing sports against boys, real men. That's why Trump is succeeding in the male vote. The soy boys, hey, I couldn't believe it. I showed it guy was on air and was whining because he had to defend. He goes, they expect me to defend and take care of and provide for a woman. You're never going to have to worry about that anymore, bro. That's on tape. People saw you. Wow. Liberals are purposefully instigators. They seek drama and feed on it like a rainbow-colored leaf. Yeah, I think they wake up in the morning and say, who can I go after today? Let me see if I can go into a store and get misgendered. Let me see if I can go into a store and get dead named. Man, get a life. Get a life. Minnesota votes Trump all the way. Excuse me. Pour on the votes, yeah. And also, as Trump said in this speech tonight, as he said, that's SB, you're laughing at me. As he said in the speech tonight, and I told you over and over again, ignore these polls. These polls are complete BS. The diddler got him. He diddly. Saw another quote today. Let me see if I can recall it exactly as it said. It said, so you're telling me, and had that look at that, you've seen that meme with the little kid that's kind of side-eyed. He's like, so you're telling me Donald Trump has brought in RFK Jr. and most of his supporters, and Tulsi Gabbard, and Elon Musk, and most of the Teamsters, and most of the UAW, and this person and that person, and he's behind? Make that math work. Make that math work to someone who's not understanding what the heck is going on. It's impossible. Absolutely impossible. Word salad woman can't be garnering that much attention. Now, it's going to be funny. So tonight, it's 8:15 right now. It's 6:30. She was supposed to do this live stream with Oprah. Not really sure where it went live. I don't know if it was on Kamala's page. Let me see if I can see it and see if it's got any results to it. I'm sure they paid a whole bunch of people to watch it, but let me see if I can find it. Kamala Harris. Don't see it on her vice president page, so it must be on her other page, Kamala Harris. Let's see how it went, because it was supposed to be a live stream with Oprah. Kamala Harris. All right, so I'm looking, and ooh, that's not good. As of right now, it's got 630,000. You're telling me that Kamala Harris is doing a live stream as we speak? I won't dare turn it on because it might make you guys puke. It started an hour ago, and I'm looking at it. I don't even know what I'm looking at because this isn't the actual thing. Don't know where she is. Oh, there it is. There's Oprah. Oh, no. On her page, on her actual page is I'm looking at it right there. There's Oprah. And she's talking. As of right now, live, there are only 69,000 people watching it. You want me to bring it up? Let's bring it up. Well, I'm not going to turn it on because I don't want to hear words she says. But I know there's probably some people who won't believe me. Let's see what we can find here. All right, here we go. Kamala Harris. And here it is. And you guys can see it. All right, so this is the live thing she's doing, this choreographed BS with Oprah, of all people. Some kind of fake town hall. Can't wait to hear what this thing says. But here's this guy, and you can see the number right there. There's only 71,000 people in the world watching this right now. 71,000. Remember when Trump went live with Elon Musk, it had 1 billion views. 1 billion, B with a B. You're telling me the candidate for the presidency, along with a media mogul, only has 75,000 people watching. And many of those, as you know, I don't trust her to basically be honest with it. And there's a bunch of people here on Zoom as well, or they may, who knows how they're doing it. But that's it. That's it. What do we got here? That's just a notification. So anyway, that's pretty sad. That's really, really. Oh, and they're doing glad hands so you don't have to clap. Whew. Now you gave her more views. Oh, you know the lies are flying. Barry, you're hurting my native eyes. Oh, that's not a town hall. That's a clown hall. Yeah. Tell me tomorrow what she's going to do when the vice president, leading presidential candidate with Oprah Winfrey, if they don't juice those numbers, she's in big, big trouble. Big trouble. I mean, right now they got to be on the phone telling, hey, click, hey, start watching. Dude, click like, do something, Ooh, oh, man. And it ain't moving up. Just so you know, when you go live on something, and you've seen my videos and how it begins to build as you're on, she's live right now, and, now it's at 81. They're making some phone calls. They're telling everybody, click the button. The whole room of maybe, like 40 people, maybe 50. This is going to be an unmitigated disaster. I mean, absolute disaster if they don't do something about that. But it is what it is. Let's see where the numbers fall. That's going to be crazy. Oh, my poor eyes. I can't. Kamal doesn't deserve any views, I heard. Yeah, they bust him in. I'm sure they bust him in. I don't even know what studio they're sitting in or anything. But they most assuredly brought these people in. So I'm waiting for round 2. Trump is about to take the stage for his second speech, a bonus speech. Didn't know he was going to be doing it, so don't go anywhere. They're saying it looks like they're singing the national anthem or something, and then we'll cut back to him when they go back on. Interesting. Oprah is talking. Why isn't Harris talking? That is a great question. Well, she's got to be the warm-up act, I guess. I mean, she's got to do the and so now not only is she not talking. Let me go back to it so you can see it again. She's not even on stage. Now she's brought on Gretchen Whitmer. So Gretchen Whitmer has come on stage, and it's only at 83.9. It's not moving. So we're having the coven here tonight at the Kamala thing here, bringing all the witches together so they can do all kinds of lying and stuff. What an evil woman she is. Santana sang about that. Anyway, it's not moving, and they're waiting. Ozepicabod. Oh man, you guys are too funny. You guys are way too funny. So they're doing something at this event. I don't know what it is. Let's hear what this is.
It's felt even more. Ronnie was just 19 years old, a young woman with her entire life ahead of her.
My name is Michal Waldman, and I live in Tampa, Florida. On October 7th, my cousin Yair Yaakov was kidnapped from his home along with his 2 children, Or and Yagil, and his partner Merav. While his family was released in November, Yair remained in captivity. In February, we received the shocking news that Hamas had filmed the torture and murder of Yair on October 7th. His body is still being held in Gaza. We are shattered. The mental torture of fighting for his return while feeling utterly helpless as we try to live our life each day is nearly unbearable. His son Or wrote, "Dad, please watch over me from heaven."
I have to cut because I'm not sure where that music is coming from, but that was just some heartbreaking stuff there. They just cleared the stage, as you can see. Whew. Man, that was heartbreaking. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. So as soon as, let's see who comes up on the stage first and looks to speak, and we'll see what we can do. Let's listen to some of this, unless it's got music. Yeah, it's got music. I don't know. Oh, and a band is running up on stage right now, so I don't know who this band is. But obviously, I can't cover it when they've got somebody playing. This guy is playing some serious licks on his guitar, but I don't know what he's playing. So I guess we can look back at the Kamala thing and make fun of it. Wow, this is really bad. This is really, really bad, because I'm looking at this thing and it's not moving. I mean, you would think that this would move, and it's still only at 91,000. So I don't know how they're going to spin this tomorrow. I think they were hoping by using Oprah that they would have a huge amount of people here. And they're not getting it. They're not getting the numbers. So what is she going to say tomorrow? Oh, it was fantastic. We had a gazillion people. Nope. It's a dead audience. An absolute dead audience. And they still haven't brought her out. So it's 8:22. She was supposed to be on stage at 8 o'clock, and they're blowing off. I bet you she's only there for like 15 minutes. Wow. Anyway, let's go ahead and get off of that, because, geez. Well, anyway, I just wanted to show that to you guys so you could see what was going on, because that was just awful. How many are watching you? I don't know. Let's see. I'm not even a presidential candidate, and right now I've got 8,000 simultaneous. I think at one point we were up to 11,000 on this one, so I'm pretty good with that. I ain't Oprah. I don't have the media mogul on my program tonight, so I'm pretty good. So I'm looking at the other show, and they've got a woman singing, so I can't bring that on. Let's see. They are roasting her in the comments. Oh, that might be worth just watching that. Barry, you're missing the joy. I can't imagine missing the joy. Don't feed the hyenas. Let's see. People equally can't stand Oprah. That's true. If you want to go over to Lahaina, Hawaii, and basically take people's land, but oh wow, that's too funny. I pray for the safety of Donald Trump and his family members. Yep. Trump. You know what the funny thing with the Trump and Elon thing is? You want to know what's really funny about that? They had 1 billion people tuned in to a conversation. I mean, there was no video. It was just a blank screen and audio. They didn't even do it with video. I don't know why he didn't do it with video. Probably would have got 2 billion. But they had 1 billion people watching at a still frame. I had an audio waveform on mine, but still 1 billion people who were just listening, doing a Spaces. This is a video production, almost like it was done, outside of some kind of a studio. Okay, I just let you know, I'm clicking back and forth. I'm watching the singing going on in the Israeli event. Can't tune to that yet. And then I'm watching over here where Oprah is yet still on stage, but they're just now about to break the 100,000 view mark. They just broke the 100,000 view mark. So here they're bringing Miss Kamala on stage. Where's she entering from? She's coming from the back. So it started 8 o'clock, 8:24. Where is she? Oh, she's taking her time, walking up the aisle, shaking hands. Yeah, look at the guy right there. Yeah, whatever. I'm here. Do you see that guy in the light suit there? Yeah, I'm here. And Oprah, oh my babe, Oprah, yes, thank you. Watch out for the hair, it might fall off, girl. Oh, Meryl Streep's watching from home. Aren't you happy? Meryl Streep is there. Oh man, oh. That's really bad. Wow. Anyway, as they say, why wave hi to all the fake people on Zoom. Meryl Streep is here. How you doing? That makes me want all paid audiences. Why would Meryl Streep even? I mean, all these rich people in here just pretending like they care. As I've said many a times, you want to show that you're really a Democrat, that you really believe in the Democrat policies. Just show us your tax returns for like the last couple of years. We'll know very quickly whether or not you're full of it. So there's another woman talking. Let's see what she has to say. Hopefully it's no music.
All of you. My name is Tamar Ishalom. Tonight, we wish to commemorate the victims and heroes of October 7. We are here to remember the horrific events of that cursed Shabbat, to remember the victims of that day and of the ongoing Iron Swords War. We also wish to honor the soldiers of the IDF, some of whom are here with us, who put their lives on the line. They deserve it. Day in and day out, defending Israeli civilians and the future of the State of Israel. Tonight and in the next 3 days, we will unite in our shared love for Israel. We'll do more than unite in our love for Israel. We'll forge that love into action. We'll strengthen the bonds between us, proving that distance cannot diminish our connection. Now, more than ever, as Israeli Americans face defining challenges, it is time to stand together and claim the power of community. We have an extraordinary program ahead. You'll hear fascinating stories of courage and resilience. You'll meet inspiring speakers. And yes, we'll even sing and dance together. Because that's who we are. We always rise up. We always choose life. We always find joy, even in the darkest times. The IAC community, that's who we are. The IAC community has come together many times over the last year. We came together to share our sorrow, our tears, our pride, our hope, and our love to Israel. Now let us all join in a special prayer for the return of the hostages, for the safety of the IDF soldiers, and in memory of the fallen. To lead the prayer, please welcome Rabbi Steinitz, Rabbi Adam J. Raskin, and Efi Yahalomi, sister of hostage Ohad Yahalomi.
Avinu Shebashamayim, Tzur Yisrael v'Goalo, Barech et Medinat Yisrael, Reshit Tzmichat Geulatenu. Hagein aleh be'evrat chazdecha, ufros aleh sukat shlomecha, ushalach archa ve'amitcha, l'rosheh sareh v'yoatzeh, v'taknein be'itza tova milefanecha. Chazek et yidei miginei eretz kodshenu, vanchilein Eloheinu Yeshua va'atara, v'natata shalom ba'aretz, v'simchat olam liyoshvea, v'nomar amen.
משברך אבותינו אברהם יצחק ויעקב, הוא יברך את חיילי צבא הגנה לישראל ואנשי כוחות הביטחון, העוסקים על משמר ארצנו וערי אלוהינו, מגבול הלבנון ועד מדבר מצרים, ומן הים הגדול ועד לבוא הערבה, ביבשה, באוויר ובים. הקדוש ברוך הוא ינצור ויציל את חיילינו מכל צרה ומצוקה, ומכל נגע ומחלה, וישלח ברכה והצלחה בכל מעשה ידיהם. ידבר שונאינו תחתיהם, ויעטרם בכתר ישועה ועטרת ניצחון, ויקוים בהם הכתוב, כי אדוני אלוהיכם ההולך עמכם להילחם לכם, עם אויביכם להושיע אתכם, ונאמר אמן.
משברך אבותינו, אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, יוסף, משה ואהרון, הוא יברך וישמור וינצור את כל אחינו הנתונים בצרה ובשביה, ויצילם ויוציאם מחושך וצל מוות, וממאסר לחירות ומשעבוד לגאולה, וישיבם מהרה לחיק משפחתם, לחיים ולשלום. וישלח להם עזר מצר, ויאמר די לצרותיהם, ויעלה אותם במהרה ממעמקים, ויוציאם מאפלה לאור גדול. בזכות אבותינו הקדושים, בזכות עקדת יצחק ורחמי שמיים, אמן.
תודה. 251 people were violently kidnapped from the western Negev to Gaza on October 7. The oldest of them, Shlomo Mansour, was then 85 years old. The youngest, Kfir Bibas, only 9 months old. 117 hostages had since been returned to Israel, along with 37 bodies. 97 hostages are still being held by Hamas in the Gaza Strip. Some of them were reportedly killed. One of those who have been to hell and returned home is 27 years old Andrei Kozlov. Andrei immigrated to Israel from Russia only a couple of years ago after he participated in the Masa internship program. On October 7, he was working as a security guard at the Nova Music Festival and was abducted by Hamas. After 8 long months in captivity, Andrei was rescued from Gaza along with 3 other hostages by Israeli special forces in the heroic Operation Arnon. These days, Andrei is meeting with communities across the United States and beyond. We wish to thank the Israeli Ministry of Diaspora Affairs for bringing him to us as well. Please welcome Andrei Kozlov.
All right, so Trump is coming. Hold on. They're bringing out a bunch of speakers in advance, and so I don't know if this guy is going to speak English or not. Let's see. Understand this is an Israeli conference that Trump is speaking at. This guy here is a former hostage who is held there for 8 months.
Wow. I need to pinch myself. I don't sleep. Hey, everybody. My name is Andrei Kozlov, and I am Russian-Israeli. You already probably know I was a hostage of Hamas for 246 days without any card. Tell me somebody 2 years ago it will happen with me. Yeah, hard to believe. Thank you very much for having me tonight here in America. I'm so happy to be here, really. I'm here tonight, free, and speaking with you for one reason. I was rescued by IDF soldiers and elite counter-terrorism operatives. One of those brave men was named Arnon Zmora. And he was killed by terrorists while rescuing me. Aaron was one of my saviors and my personal hero. I would like to ask you to rise and join me in a moment of silence for him. May his memory be a blessing. Thank you. I would like to tell you about 5 days in my life. 5 days that define who I am as a man and tell you how and why I am here today. The first is August 28, 2022, the day I arrived in Israel. I started to collect all my papers for Aliyah in October 2021. My choice fell on Israel because of a lot of reasons. Included, it's a land my Jewish grandfather told me about my entire childhood. I was a regular guy who just decided to move and study in another country. And 2 years ago I did it, just 3 weeks before mobilization in Russia. I felt like I started a new life. Inspiration, new opportunities, sea, sun, dreams. My story is probably like those of so many Americans who come to Israel every year. It started with Taglit, Birthright, and Masa. 7 months passed, and I started to build my life in a new place. The second day to tell you about is October 7th, 2023. The day my life and the world changed, totally changed. Yes, sometimes life's gifts are not so nice. I was in country a little bit more than 1 year. I came from one war to another. Good start, I think. I first knew what was happening the way most of you did, from Google and Telegram, but after I heard the rockets and I saw the terrorists. And because I'm here now, you know that every step I took somehow was the right one to survive. Every direction where I choose to run, I found a car to get into. I cut my t-shirt not on purpose with barbed wire. I jumped from a cliff, and I remember this survive mode. Still remember. Then, didn't send any bye messages to my family. There is no need. You are totally sure that you come back, as was me. We were brought to Gaza, our hands tied behind our backs and blindfolded. Then, one of them removed my blindfold, and he signed with his hands that he will kill me the next day. After, he showed me that he loved me. That was mine October 7th. The next day to know about was November 2nd. We were being held in a noisy area, so we heard people moving all day, until everybody from outside took something from their homes and left this area. Even all our guards left. One of them stayed with a big knife and rubber stick reading his Quran and praying. We were waiting for the house to be bombed, expecting to die during an hour and a half. This was one of the scariest moments I can remember. But every day in Gaza was terrible, every day. I also remember one night, it's my personal record, I heard 486 bombs, only for one night. Some people count ships to fall asleep. I counted bombs. That night, I didn't sleep. That whole time, I worked to stay alive. I fought to keep the fear away, including my greatest one, that I would never see my family again, that they would never even find my body. Now, I am so happy to say what I wanted to say, and I already did it, of course. Mom, my dad, Dima, grandmothers, grandfather, aunt, I love you. Thank you. The next day I want to tell you about was June 8, 2024. The day I was rescued along with Shlomi Ziv, Almog Meir Jan, and Noah Argamani. The day was one of the very, very few lucky hostages who were rescued. I remember that feeling, one of chance to gain freedom you just have to reach for. But only at helicopter out of Gaza, I believed, I'm finally free. My parents arrived in Israel from Russia on next day. Only then I could breathe again. It's a feeling I fought for, a feeling that I survived for. And it's a feeling that remaining hostages must have, as me. The fifth and final day I must tell you about is today. Because today I stand in front of all of you. I don't have idea which rules and laws this crazy world has. Somebody dies. Somebody gets what he prayed about. I know only one thing. I'm still that regular guy who I was before. Now, fortunately for me, I am able to influence a little. Nobody can understand feelings of hostages. Nobody. But we have to remember that 101 hostages are still in Gaza. Probably they don't know nothing, that they are underground, most of them. They don't drink and don't eat enough. And they pray every day to come back home, already 11 months. They don't know nothing, most of them. When will they come back? Will they even come back? Will they die today or not? They think about death every day, as me. They're angry, sad, weak, defenseless. And all of this accompanied by hopelessness. I'm appealing to all leaders, please, please, bring them all home. We must find a way to bring them all home for free before their time runs out. Thank you.
Music starts. Ugh, I hate when they do that. Man, these stories are just heartbreaking. I mean, this guy was in captivity all that time. Can you imagine? Can you even put yourself in that position where there are guys holding you captive, you watched other people get butchered and God knows what else, and you're there, you're still alive, and you got to come home. There must be all kinds of feelings that you go through. Oops, still playing music. All right.
Is this an exciting night or what? My friends, when President Trump appointed me special envoy to combat anti-Semitism, what he always called the vile poison of anti-Semitism, and that it is, I never could have imagined that I would be joining an administration that made the fight against Jew hatred, the protection of the Jewish people throughout the world, and the support for the State of Israel a top priority for the United States. We still marvel at his recognition of Jerusalem as the eternal capital of the Jewish people in the State of Israel, of his recognition of Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights, of his repudiation of the horrific Iran nuclear deal, and his imposition of crushing sanctions on the evil regime in Tehran. And then, of course, the Abraham Accords, peace in the Middle East, dream of generations realized. But while we talk about those big things, let me tell you about some of the other things he did, because it is a stunning record of the defense of our people. When President Trump saw that the Palestinian Authority was engaging in the pay-for-slay program, paying terrorists who kill Jews, he said, not with US money, and he cut PA funding. When he saw that anti-Semitic textbooks were being printed by UNRWA, used in the indoctrination of little children in Gaza and in Judea and Samaria, he said, not with our money, he defunded UNRWA. When he saw that anti-Semites were denying Jewish history and Jewish claims, he took out the term occupied territories from the State Department human rights reports because he said Judea and Samaria isn't occupied. It's part of the Jewish homeland. When he saw obsessive anti-Semitism in the United Nations, he says, I'm out. And he walked out of the UN Human Rights Council. And not only did he do that, he said, if you are an ICC prosecutor and you're going to target the heroes of the IDF, you're not coming to the United States because we're not giving you a visa. When he saw that Jew hatred was being paraded as Israel hatred, he said, not on my watch, and he set forth a brand new policy for the United States. Anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism, period. And yes, let's hear from our students here tonight. Yeah. When he saw that Jewish students were being persecuted on America's campuses, he said, not on my watch, and signed an executive order protecting Jewish kids on campus. Let me tell you, I was there at the White House when he signed it. He signed it and looked right at the camera and he said, let me make this very clear to you. If you're a university president and you are promoting the harassment and bullying of Jewish students, you're going to lose a lot of money. And I'll promise you, not a single university didn't hear that. And so it's a stunning record. And what an honor it is. What an honor it is that at the IAC, we can say to him a huge thank you, Mr. President. Dear friends, to introduce my former boss, it is my deepest honor to call to the stage the brilliant physician, the legendary philanthropist, the great Israeli American, the recipient of the Presidential Medal of Freedom, my dear friend, my mentor, Dr. Miriam Adelson.
Having to cut the music, just to let you guys know, it'll come right back as soon as she gets up to the microphone. She's going to bring on Donald Trump. So in a couple seconds, we're going to hear Trump. Let me hear what Miriam Adelson.
Shalom IC. Look at all of you. What an amazing energy, electric energy. That's what we felt the first time Shalom and me came to see the Los Angeles IC. It was called different name. And when we saw this crazy energy, Sheldon looked at me, I looked at him, and do you know what are we going to do? We are going to do it all over America. So, what a beautiful enthusiasm you have. Thank you. It gives a whole new meaning to the phrase, Am Israel Chai. The nation of Israel lives. But of course, we at the IC are not just Am Israel Chai. In addition to being proud Jews and proud Israelis, we are proud Americans. Now, as you all know, we at the IAC are bipartisan. Our American patriotism transcends politics. So does our promotion of the State of Israel and of its essential alliance with the United States. But with Israel at war and threats facing us here and abroad, we also look to higher values, to preservation of life. And our preservation as a people. That's why Am Israel Chai has become our rallying cry over the last year. We defy those who would destroy us, persecute us, exclude us. And it is why we will always welcome and honor those who look out for us, while others look the other way. Heroes like our distinguished guest tonight, even if he were to retire right now, Donald Trump will have done enough for the Jewish people and for the Jewish state to earn his eternal place in the Jewish history. And he did it all as proud American, knowing that this great United States are at the best when they stand by their best friends, the state of Israel. By taking a stand on Jerusalem, the Golan, Iran, and by bringing the first Middle East peace deal in a quarter of a century, he knows that American Jews did more than their share to make America great, and that antisemitism is a shameful stain on that generation. He knows that promises are meant to be kept, that courage is more important than rhetoric, that vision and values trump slogans and virtue signaling. It's why I feel so privileged to call him my friend, and even more privileged to call him my president. Ladies and gentlemen of the IAC, whether or not you vote for Donald Trump in November is your business, but you should certainly thank him. That's what Jews do. It's what anyone who cares about Israel does. It's what anyone who cares about America does. And it's what we will all do right now. Please join me in welcoming President Donald J. Trump.
Sorry, I have to cut the mic when I'm talking or when the music is on. Just I know it annoys some of you, but it is what it is. We can't play the music. YouTube just doesn't like us playing the music. But as soon as he begins speaking, I shall shut up and turn on his microphone. Yep, we're still getting music. Can't do it. Please bear with me. I don't control YouTube and how they react to people playing music. So, right now he's stepping up to the microphone, people are cheering, and I think he's ready to speak. Let's do this.
Into the whole song, but let's get down to business, right? Let's get down to business. And I want to thank Miriam. This is a great woman, a really great woman who loves Israel, loves the Jewish people, who loves Israel, loves the Jewish people. And she's really a special person, so I very much appreciate that she was here to introduce. Thanks also to the Israeli-American Council and CEO, my former special envoy to combat anti-Semitism, who did a phenomenal job. Where is Mr. Carr? He's around here someplace. Where is he? Great job. Great job. Thank you very much, Elan. Co-chairs Avi Almos-Leno and Tal Schuster. Thank you. We have the honor of having a very powerful man with us right now. He's the Speaker of the House, and he's really doing a good job. Mike Johnson. Mike. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mike. Thank you. Now, one of the very top people in Congress, she's like a rocket ship. She's going up so fast. She totally destroyed the president of Harvard, you saw, with the big glasses, those big glasses. She asked her a simple question, and that was the end. She didn't get a very good answer. Actually, he sounded a little bit like Kamala. But a really special person doing a phenomenal job in Congress, Elise Stefanik. That's a pretty good hand. They jumped up. What was that all about, Elise? That's pretty impressive. Ambassador Michael Herzog. Thank you, Ambassador. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. A friend of mine, a great lawyer, and his beautiful wife is with him, Alan Dershowitz. That was very, very nice. Thank you, Alan. And many other very distinguished guests. I have so many that I can't call because we don't have enough time. We're on television, we're all over the place, and I'm supposed to be calling out names that nobody ever heard of, so we won't do that. But please know that we love you all, including congressmen and senators that are here. We have a lot of them. Thank you. Thank you very much. Before we begin, I just want to mention some polls that just came out. They just came out. Remember in the old days, I used to call the polls because the fake news would never do it. I said, if I don't do it, nobody else is going to do it. Highly respected Rasmussen poll, one of the most respected polls. According to the Rasmussen, just out a little while ago, we're leading by 8 points, 52 to 44. 8 points, it's good. And they were that's national, and they were very accurate the last time, so a lot of respect for Rasmussen. And they also have us up 11 with independents. That's pretty good. The Emerson poll came out, another good one, highly respected. We're up in Arizona, we're up in Wisconsin, we're up in Pennsylvania, 3 states they did. Oh, I don't believe this, I don't believe it. Even the New York Times has us way up in the Midwest. Can you believe that? Oh, that was painful for them to say. We're 9 up in the Midwest, that's very good. And the Atlanta Journal-Constitution has us 3 up in Georgia, that's good, that's good. And CNN, can you believe this, has us? They did Arizona, 5 up in Arizona, so we're doing well. Daily Express, we're 5 up nationally, in the battleground states. So 47 days from now, we're going to defeat Kamala Harris. We're going to take back our country, and we're going to, quite simply, make America great again, right? We're gathered tonight to talk about the sacred bond between the United States and Israel, and it's a bond that's in serious trouble. There's never been anything like it. I believe that we are closer to World War III than at any time in the history of this country since the Second World War. There's never been anything like this period of time that we're going through, and we have leaders that are grossly incompetent. They have no idea what's happening. In less than 3 weeks, we will mark the 1-year anniversary of the deadliest attack on the Jewish people since the Holocaust. On October 7th, Hamas terrorists slaughtered more than 1,200 Israelis, including men, women, children, and even little beautiful babies. They tortured, wounded, kidnapped, and horribly maimed thousands more. What a horrible time. Unthinkable. Could not have happened if I was president. Would not have happened. You know that. Iran had no money. There was no money for terror. 28 terror organizations, including Hezbollah and Hamas, they had no money. There were lots of stories about it. We had no terrorism during the Trump administration. Remember that? Tonight we honor the memory of all who lost their lives in the October 7th attacks, and we pray to God that Israel will redeem their deaths with ultimate victory over those who wish to destroy it. And we're honored, thank you very much, and we're honored to be joined this evening by several of the victims of the October 7th attack, that horrible, horrible day. Former Hamas hostage Andrei Kozlov, who was recused. Yeah. Andrei was rescued by the IDF after 8 months of very horrible captivity. I can imagine. Where's Andrei? Is Andrei here someplace? Yes? Yes. Come on up here, Andrei. He's got more courage than I have. Come on up here.
I know. Barry, why are you cutting the music? Well, that's because you're not allowed to play the music. People who say, why isn't this person doing it or that person doing it? It's just a rule, and other people may do it, and they may get in trouble. I'm not interested in getting in trouble. I get close enough to the third rail that I don't want to continue. All right, here we go.
Good guy. I just said, do you want to say something? And he wasn't exactly sure. Say something, Andrei.
I'm a little bit shy. I'm close to Trump, I'm shy. What can I say? Thank you so much for this careness, and I really appreciate endlessly. Really, thank you.
Well done. We'll see you, man. Congratulations. You look beautiful.
Thank you so much.
He's a good-looking guy. Also with us is Dadi Simchi, the father of Guy Simchi, who was murdered on October 7th. And I will tell you, that was just a horrible thing, and I've said hello. Could you please stand up? What a great gentleman to suffer like he's suffered. Thank you very much. I appreciate it very much. I appreciate it very much. Would you like to come up? We'd love to honor you. Would you like to come up? Come on up. Come on, in honor of your boy. In honor.
They keep playing music in between each one. There's a lot of people on this thread who think they know what copyright is. I deal with copyright every single day. So I'm not doing this because I'm worried. I know specifically what I can and can't do. Been doing this quite a while now, and we can actually know.
I really appreciated what you are doing for Israel, what you did, and what you will done. I hope for. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Great man. What they've had to endure. Also with us are the parents of several of the current hostages, and hopefully we're going to be getting them back very, very soon. Very, very soon. Thank you all for being here. Thank you very, very much. What you're going through is very hard to even understand how it could have happened in the first place. I'd like to ask you just to stand for a second, please, in honor of what we're all here for, because we're going to get them out. They're going to come out. Thank you all very much. That's a great group of people. And that's a lot of people, too. We're going to get them out. We're going to get them out. Thank you.
Bring them home. 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 Bring them home.
Thank you very much for being with us. And we pray for you. And somehow it's going to work out. We're going to get it to work out. And this evening we repeat the vow that we have kept in our hearts since the terrible day in October Never again. Never again. This should never have ever happened. This should never have happened. Should never have happened. Weak leadership in the United States allowed this to happen, and it should never have happened. It would never have happened. It's so sad to see. 1 year after the horrific massacre, we are instead threatened with a different future, one in which October 7th happens again and again. We have to recognize it again and again. I'm here tonight to deliver an urgent warning to Jewish Americans and to every friend of Israel all around the world. And you have so many Christian friends. They love Israel. So important. I have so many Christian friends, and you know, when I first started running, I will tell you a story. Maybe I shouldn't, but I will. I was campaigning in 2015 in Iowa in a very Christian area, and there were about 6,000 people, and it was in a church, and they were very religious Christians. And the father, the minister, and a few others were there, and they said, "Sir, would you please say something great about Israel?" I said, "Say it again. Say it again," because I didn't realize, you know, in the old days, it wasn't like this. He said, "If I say something good about Israel, that's not a positive for this particular group, is it?" "No, sir. If you say something good about Israel, they'll love you." I said, my, things have changed. How things have changed, right, Miriam? So I was a little bit circumspect, to put it mildly. And I went out there, and that place went wild because they liked me right from the beginning. I don't know why. A lot of people have bad taste, I guess. But they liked me right from the beginning. And I said, we love Israel, and we will save Israel, and we will fight with Israel. And the place went wild. I said, what the hell is going on? They love Israel. I hate to say it. Sometimes they love Israel much more than Jewish people in New York love Israel. Alan Dershowitz knows that. They really do. It's an amazing thing, and that's when it really started, and it was incredible. But you have Christians and evangelical Christians. They love Israel so much, and it's great to see that. It's great to see it. If we continue down our current path with 4 more years of Kamala, and I don't say Harris because when I say Harris, nobody knows who the hell I'm talking about. I just said it to another group. You know, Miriam has me working hard here. I have this group, that group, but this is the big one, right, Miriam? This is the big one. But don't worry, I said that to the last group also. No, she's got me working hard. But it's sort of interesting when you look at what we're doing and how important a mission we're on. If we continue down our current path with 4 more years of Kamala, Israel will be faced not just with an attack, but with total annihilation. And I hate to say it so much. It's total annihilation. That's what you're talking about. You don't have a protector. You have a big protector in me. You don't have a protector on the other side. And I've said long and loud, anybody, and especially over the last few years, anybody who's Jewish and loves being Jewish and loves Israel is a fool if they vote for a Democrat. But beyond that, if they love Israel, anybody that votes for a Democrat or Kamala especially, because this is the worst ever. This is the worst you've ever had. This one makes Barack Hussein Obama look like he loved Israel by comparison. But you should have your head examined, because it will face an unceasing bloody war to obliterate the Jewish state and drive Jews out of the Holy Land. That's what they want to do. They want to drive Jews out of the Holy Land. And they are not forgiving people. You found that out on October 7th. By the way, when Trump was president, you had no problems, did you? None. You had no problems. You ever think of that? I wanted to tell Israel that numerous times during the presidency, but I didn't want to do that and then have something bad happen. But nothing bad was going to happen. They didn't have the money to prosecute the war. Nothing was going to happen. We had everything in check, beautifully in check. And by the way, Russia would have never attacked Ukraine either, just so you know. We wouldn't have had inflation. We wouldn't have had that horrible situation in Afghanistan, where we lost 13 great soldiers, where $85 billion worth of brand new, beautiful military equipment that I bought, beautiful stuff. I bought and they gave it away. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. And we wouldn't have that. We left American hostages behind. Remember that. All of that wouldn't have happened. Think of it. October 7th would have not happened. That wouldn't have happened. And we wouldn't have had inflation. It was started by a stupid oil policy and a spending policy. We would have never had inflation, which has destroyed many families. Let me spell out bluntly the danger of 4 more years of weakness in this White House. If Kamala is reelected, Iran will quickly obtain nuclear weapons. They're already about ready to do it, okay? And you know, they were so broke, and I'm not looking to hurt anybody, but they were broke. I had sanctions. Anybody that did any business with Iran could not do business with the United States. I told President Xi of China, if you do business with Iran, if you buy 1 barrel of oil from Iran, you're not doing any more business with the United States, and I'm going to put on tariffs of 200%. And China didn't buy anything. And other countries likewise, other countries. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. And Iran was ready to do something. They were ready to make a deal. They weren't spending the money because they didn't have the money to spend. And you didn't have a single strike. You had nothing happen during this period of time. It was a beautiful time. Not a single strike. Thank you very much. Thank you. So Iran will right now quickly obtain nuclear weapons capable of killing millions and millions of people, Jewish people, non-Jewish people. There's no discrimination with nuclear weapons, you know that, and the power is unbelievable. And I know because I renovated, fixed, and bought brand new nuclear weapons. We have the greatest nuclear stockpile now, but I hated to do it because the devastation is nothing. This will be Third World War if it happens, and we're relying on stupid people. If it happens, this will not be 2 army tanks going back and forth and shooting. This will be, again, obliteration. This could be world obliteration. And we have to get back to common sense, and we have to get back to good leaders that are respected by the other side. Our leaders are not respected by Russia. They're not respected by China. They're not respected by Kim Jong-un of North Korea. They're not respected, frankly, by anybody. From behind this nuclear shield, the regime will be free to unleash its militant terror brigades to turn the Jewish homeland into hell on earth. They've already started with October 7th. Rockets will rain down from above until the Iron Dome has been exhausted. You know, the Iron Dome's great, but when you send too many, there's not a thing it can do. It's exhausted. It becomes exhausted. They call it that. They want to exhaust, and they send up anything. They call it garbage into the air. Let them keep sending their missiles up, and eventually they don't have any missiles to protect, and that's when it begins. We can't do that. Terrorist death squads will conduct constant raids into Israeli territory from all sides, going door to door and torturing, raping, kidnapping, and massacring innocent civilians. This is what it is, and you know that better than anybody because you've just seen it. A year ago, Tel Aviv and Jerusalem will become unlivable war zones as suicide attacks grind life to a halt. So, as president, I would look at a map of the Middle East, and I'd see a massive, massive piece of land, and I'd see a little dot, just like this stage, and that, right at the top. This would be Israel. And I said to Miriam, I said to Sheldon, I said to friends of mine, how can such a big piece of land. I mean, how could this be possible where you have that little piece of land surrounded by massive numbers of people and soldiers, big armies? Iran has a big army. Big mistake when another administration took out Iraq. You know, you had two for centuries. They would fight each other under different names, under religion, but they were the same strength. And they'd fight and fight and fight, and then they'd relax, and then they'd fight and fight and fight. This went on for centuries. And then somebody who wasn't a very smart person eliminated one of the sides, and the other one was left with nobody to fight. And now the other one basically has Iraq as a subsidiary. And Iraq is very rich, and so is Iran very rich. When I was there, Iran had no money. Now Iran has $350 billion, all made in 3.5 years. They took off the sanctions. But Iraq is like a subsidiary of Iran. Don't let anyone ever tell you. And Iraq has over $300 billion. So this is a very rich two nations, and they are essentially one. And they're getting closer and closer all the time. This is a nightmare that should have never happened. Iran, Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis, you see the Houthis all over? They've long dreamed of making all of this come true, and if Kamala Harris wins the election, her weakness and incompetence, she's grossly incompetent. Look, she can't do an interview, okay? And let me tell you, I won that debate by a lot. By a lot. You know, I walked off the stage, I said, man, did I beat her, even though I was against 3 people. I kept saying, I said, what are you doing here? And you know, the things I said were right. Like I said, we have massive increases in crime. And David Muir said, that's not true. The statistics show that crime is going down. Anybody in their right mind, take a look at what's happening from the border, that we have crime that's worse. I said, you're wrong on that. Crime is going down. Now let's go to the next one. I said, what the hell was that all about? I only have one regret, that I wanted to be elegant and I didn't want to attack the anchors, which would have been very easy to do. So I didn't attack them, but I should have attacked them because it was 3-on-1. It's like a basketball game, 3-on-1. It's very hard. But we did well. And you know what? Since the debate, we're getting great kudos because they're analyzing the debate. They say, you know, Trump was right. I was right on everything. She made up all these stories, a bloodbath story. She made up all of these stories. It's disgraceful. And that's the problem we have. We have a fake media. And so we have to fight harder, and we have to be stronger, and we have to be much smarter. And by the way, Israel and Jewish people are attacked by the media that I can't even believe. The New York Times is controlled by a Jewish family. I don't think there's anybody worse to Israel than the New York Times is. I read articles about Israel that I know are false. The New York Times and plenty of others. So my message today is very simple. If you want Israel to survive, you need Donald J. Trump as the 47th president of the United States. It's a very simple message. Very, very simple. Right? You. Thank you, everybody. Under my leadership, America will once again stand shoulder to shoulder with our friend and ally, the State of Israel. Right now, all they do is fight the State of Israel. Don't do this, don't do that. I will support the same people that gave us Afghanistan are telling you what to do, by the way, which every one of those generals should have been fired. You know, I knocked out ISIS in 4 weeks. It was supposed to take 5 years. I did it in 4 weeks. I had great generals. We have the greatest army in the world. But not the people that are on television. These are people that don't know what the hell they're doing. They should have all been fired. I will support Israel's right to win its war on terror, and it has to win it fast. Will you please win it fast? Win it, but you have to win it fast if you can. And I was always, thank you very much. I will always defend Israel's fundamental right to exist as a Jewish nation in the Jewish homeland. That's what it's about, isn't it? But remember this, you're under attack like never before. There's never been a time like this that people can remember. This was a period, they say, if you read, and I find it very interesting, but this was just before the Holocaust. I think there's a very great similarity because nobody can believe what's been happening. If Kamala Harris wins instead of the most pro-Israel president ever, which I have been already declared to be, you will have the most anti-Israel president by far, far worse than Barack Hussein Obama. Over the past 12 months, Kamala Harris has repeatedly demanded an immediate ceasefire to save Hamas. She wants to save Hamas. Meanwhile, she and Biden deployed U.S. military to build a $230 million pier to resupply Hamas. The pier didn't work out too well. Every time there was a little rough weather, the thing got ripped apart. Those of you in the real estate business know what I'm going to say. Those contractors made a hell of a lot of money. 230 million every time there's a little rain. It blew apart. Wonderful job. This was not General Patton's bridge. General Patton knew how to build them. He built them fast and cheap. Kamala Harris has even suggested that she would consider imposing a full arms embargo against Israel, and what she wants to do. One thing about politicians, like she wants to defund the police, she wants to do all these things, no fracking, you know, now she wants fracking, no fracking. For 20 years, there will be no fracking. And then she's a chameleon. He said, that's true. She just yesterday reaffirmed her support for blocking major arms shipments, as you know, to Israel. She blocked them. If these are positions Kamala Harris takes before the election, just wait to see what she would do after the election. You won't have a country left. Israel will be doomed. I really mean that. Israel will be doomed. And, you know, I said to Miriam today, I said, you know, they have to go through a little tough love here today because we have to tell the facts. Israel will not exist within 2 years if she becomes president. And what a difference a president makes. Big difference. Just 4 years ago, when I left office, the United States and Israel were safer, closer, and stronger than they have ever been before, by far. Under my leadership, we totally obliterated the ISIS caliphate. We terminated its founder and leader, al-Baghdadi. I withdrew from the horrendous Iran nuclear deal and imposed the toughest ever sanctions on the Iranian regime. They had no money. They wanted to make a deal. The saddest part, they had no money. They wanted to make a deal. And these guys came in and they never made a deal. You could have made any deal, but now they're rich again because he took all the sanctions off and everybody started buying, in particular China. China went from buying nothing under Trump to buying billions and billions of dollars of oil a month. I withdrew from the anti-Semitic UN Human Rights Council, which was a big thing. I sanctioned the anti-American and anti-Israel radicals of the International Criminal Court. Many of you know what that meant. That was a big deal. I defunded the Palestinian Authority and choked off all of the money to Hamas. Don't forget, nobody ever did that. I said, how much are we paying them? Almost $1 billion, sir. I say, they treat us so disrespectfully. They say death to America, and we're giving them money. Why are we giving them money when they say death to America? So I said, how much money do we give them? Almost $1 billion. I said, tell them they're in default. You're not supposed to treat us that way when we give you money. Tell them that they won't be getting money anymore until such time as we make a deal. And I will tell you, we had them very, very close, and then we had an election that really hurt it, and too bad. But we did do the Abraham Accords and other things, but I would have even preferred to do this. We would have had something done. Just as I promised, I recognized Israel's eternal capital and opened the American embassy in Jerusalem. Jerusalem became the capital. I also recognized Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights. You know, Miriam and Sheldon would come into the White House probably almost more than anybody outside of people that worked there. And they were always after, and as soon as I'd give them something, always for Israel. As soon as I'd give them something, they'd want something else. I said, give me a couple of weeks, will you please? But I gave them the Golan Heights, and they never even asked for it. You know, for 72 years, they've been trying to do the Golan Heights, right? And even Sheldon didn't have the nerve. But I said, you know what? I said to David Friedman, give me a quick lesson, like 5 minutes or less on the Golan Heights. And he did. And I said, let's do it. We got it done in about 15 minutes, right? 72 years. You know, for 72 years, it's true. Planes would fly in, fly out, fly in. In the old days, they weren't such nice planes. But they'd fly in every year. They'd have a meeting on the Golan Heights. They'd have lunch. They'd have dinner. They'd have this. They'd have that. They'd leave. Nothing would happen, right? And then one day, Trump came along, and it was done very quickly. 4 years ago, last Sunday, we signed the historic Abraham Accords. It's a big deal. And secured peace in the Middle East. That was peace in the Middle East, really. 4 very strong countries, and we would have had all of the countries signed. We would have had, in my opinion, I know this sounds ridiculous, I believe Iran even would have signed because of all of the benefits and all of the trade and all of the other things. I believe that, but we won't get a chance to see that because the 4 countries are still 4 countries. Within 6 months, we would have had just about all of the countries done. Biden and Kamala have done no countries into the Abraham. It's still there with the 4, but nothing's been added to it. It's a shame. But from the moment Kamala got to the White House, she and Crooked Joe took over historic successes and turned them into unprecedented failure and peril. You know that. Harris restored funding to the Palestinian organizations immediately, giving them billions and billions of dollars. And much of that money went directly to Hamas. Then Kamala and Joe Biden delivered over $100 billion in sanctions relief, all stuff that I held back. And I would have been very good. They would have been very happy. I wanted one thing from Iran: no nuclear weapon. I didn't want much. No nuclear weapon. And now they're very close to getting it, and you can't let that happen. They're very close to getting it. Here at home, Kamala's partnered, and she's partnered with anybody she can. You hear the things coming out of the administration. You hear what they're saying. But she pandered to the Hamas supporters and the anti-Semites in her own party. The things she says, it's not even believable. She said that radical anti-Israel demonstrators at college campuses were, quote, showing what human emotion should be. Oh, isn't that nice? I'm telling you, Israel has no chance. Jewish people that love Israel have no chance. As border czar, which she denies she ever was, but she was the border czar. But even if she wasn't, she was in charge of the border. So what difference does it make? She let in thousands and thousands of terrorists at our southern border. 21 million people, of which thousands of terrorists have poured in. When I was there, I let in almost none, almost none. They had a chart that was a very well-known chart. I liked it very much. It's probably my favorite chart of all time. Remember that? I looked to the right. Let me see that chart. I looked. It's my favorite chart of all time, but it showed the great numbers that we had. But one of the numbers that was released recently was that in 2019, one of my years, I don't believe this number, by the way. It was done by Homeland Security. I appreciate it, but I don't believe it. I had no terrorists coming into the United States. They had 0. Now we have thousands. So I don't believe the 0, but the number was very low. 10, 12, 5. How can it be 0? But they actually have 0. Then I had 0 terrorists. So we used to check it, but we had very little. Now we have thousands and thousands of terrorists pouring into our country. It's so sad, and only bad can happen. Only bad things are going to happen. She imported migrants from terrorist hotspots all over the world, and now we have armies of jihadist sympathizers brazenly marching through the streets of our cities. I've never seen anything like it. Where did they come from? How did they get here? Kamala Harris is the candidate of the forces that want to destroy Western civilization. The other day, in fact, it was yesterday, the FBI reported that Iran has spied on my campaign. I'm going to have to hire Alan Dershowitz. Only Alan Dershowitz could do. Iran has spied on my campaign think of this, and given the information to Kamala. What's that all about? That alone should get me elected. Think of it. Iran got the information from my campaign and gave it immediately to Kamala and the campaign apparatus over on the other side. I'm the candidate of those who want to defend Western civilization, defend Israel, and defend the United States of America. When I return to the White House, we will quickly restore stability in the Middle East, and we will return the world to peace. And remember the phrase, peace through strength. You know, I had no wars for 4 years. I remember crooked Hillary Clinton. Remember, she was up debating me, and she said, look at him. Look at his rhetoric. He's going to cause wars. I said, no, my rhetoric's going to keep us out of wars. And that's what happened. We had no war for 4 years, other than I finished off ISIS. No war. First time in 78 years, by the way, just to brag a little bit, because nobody else is going to say it if I don't. Israel will have the support it needs and the powerful ally that it deserves in the United States. Here at home, I will ban refugee resettlement from terror-infested areas like the Gaza Strip. We will restore the travel ban, some people call it the Trump travel ban, and keep the radical Islamic terrorists out of our country. That was upheld by the Supreme Court, and it really did work. Again, we had no terrorist attacks into the United States. Think of it. Now I'm talking United States, if that's okay. We had no terrorist attacks for 4 years. Nothing. Nothing. They knew, don't play games with us. And we will deport the foreign jihad sympathizers and Hamas supporters from our midst. We will get them out. If you hate America, if you want to eliminate Israel, we will throw you out of our country so rapidly your head will spin. We're going to get them back. We're going to get those beautiful kids in some cases, because they're always your children. You know, they'll say, oh, he said children. No, they're always your children. And some older people also, by the way, but we're going to get them back. We got to get them back. We can't let this happen again. So incredible that you're, to make the trip, so many people. It makes me realize how important this is, Miriam, frankly, for so many people to make the trip. And there's nothing more important than what you're going through. And there's nothing more important than the people that you love. And it will be so beautiful to see it work out well. We got to make it work out well. Got to make it. Thank you. And to confront the crisis of anti-Semitism at our universities, I will tell college presidents that they must end the anti-Semitic propaganda, or they will lose their accreditation and they will lose all federal support. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. This is the most important election in the history of the United States, and it's also the most important election in the history of Israel. Can you imagine that? A non-Israeli election is the single most important election that Israel will ever have. Isn't that something? With all I have done for Israel, I received only 24% of the vote. But I understood that. That was in 2016. And, you know, it's one of those things. I thought I'd do much better. I happen to have a Jewish daughter. I have a Jewish son-in-law. I have 3 Jewish grandchildren. I thought I'd do much better. But I only got 24%. Think of that. And then I became president of the United States and was the best president ever for Israel and for the Jewish people by far. Nobody was close. I gave them Golan Heights. I gave them the Abraham Accords. I recognized the capital of Israel and opened the embassy in Jerusalem. And most importantly of all, I terminated the Iran nuclear deal, which was the worst deal ever made in the history of Israel, in the history of the Middle East. I was there 4 years, gave them billions and billions of dollars. I was the best friend Israel ever had. And still in 2020, now I've done all these things, so now Jewish people have no excuse. I got 29%. I went from 25 to 29%. Think of that. Honestly, you didn't treat yourselves well. You didn't. It was a terrible thing. And what made me even more upset about it is the current polling has just been announced. Now, I just announced the polls and I'm now polling at about 40%. That means 60% of Jewish people are going to vote for Kamala or a Democrat. And honestly, you ought to have your heads examined. You ought to have your heads examined. And those votes may be necessary for us to win. I say us to win because we're in this together. But who are these people? Who are the 60% that would vote? And I really believe that bad things, very bad things are going to happen. And I'll put it to you very simply and as gently as I can. I wasn't treated properly by the voters who happen to be Jewish. I don't know, do they know what the hell is happening? If I don't win this election, and the Jewish people would really have a lot to do with that if that happens, because at 40%, that means 60% of the people are voting for the enemy. Israel, in my opinion, will cease to exist within 2 years, and I believe I'm 100% right. You know, there's a hat that comes out, Trump was right about everything, and I believe I'm right. And that's a hell of a thing to say, but I believe I'm right. If I do win, Israel will be safe and secured. We will stop the toxic poison of anti-Semitism from spreading here. All over America, it's spreading. It's spreading like it's never spread before. I've never seen anything like it. I really believe it would be obliteration, and it'll happen quickly, too. It's very close to happening. With your vote, we will reject anti-Semitism in our schools, reject it in our foreign policy. We will reject it in our immigration system. But all of that starts with rejecting Kamala Harris at the ballot box this election. Number one, she doesn't know what the hell she's doing. She doesn't know. She can't do an interview. How do you think she'll do against President Xi? She can't do an interview. And I'm not even saying she's stupid for not doing that, but her handlers know what they're doing. Can't have it. We went through 4 years of that. We can't go through another 4 years of that. Together, we will save the United States of America, and we will save the state of Israel on November 5th, 2024. It will be the most important day in the history of Israel. It'll be the most important day in the history of the United States. Thank you very much, everybody. God bless you. God bless Israel. Thank you.
Trump went on for 2 speeches tonight. The man works like, I can say this, not racial, he works like a Jamaican. You guys know what I'm talking. He got two speeches, one right after the other. He went to the, I guess that was the fundraiser earlier, and then tonight he capped it off with the speech to the entire audience. Meanwhile, Cackles is over there with the support cast of cat ladies on the Zoom, Oprah, Whitmer, and it's over. It ended about 10, 15 minutes ago. She barely, you'll see all the cuts. If you want to trudge through them, you will see how badly she did. Meanwhile, this man got up and did 2 speeches tonight. God bless him. I think he's got the day off tomorrow. He needs it. But he looked great. I mean, I don't know if he got good sleep last night on the plane or what, but he looked great. People loved it. This was a little bit different of a speech. I know it wasn't everybody's cup of tea. I understand it wasn't everybody's cup of tea. It wasn't designed to be everybody's cup of tea. Many, many, many people who still support Trump don't like Israel. I understand. But you have to look at it holistically, big. This man is trying to get as many votes as he possibly can. He's not like Kamala just saying what people want to hear. He's telling them the truth. If the Jewish people don't understand that if she were to be installed as president, I'm not saying elected, if she were to be installed as president, what the heck would happen to Israel? It would be just devastation. They don't want Israel. I can't believe people would vote. Well, actually, I can, because most of the people who are Democrat, who say they're Democrat, are indeed voting against their best personal interest. They don't care how much tax, how they get taxed. They don't care that they won't be able to speak. So you see, they think it's all going to happen to the Republicans, to those MAGA people. Those MAGA people are who they're going to go after. What are they teaching people in school? Because obviously you don't understand what happens under socialist, Marxist, communistic rule. You don't get it. For some reason, you don't get it. They're not going to stop with MAGA. They're not going to stop with certain people and go after this one but not that one. No, it's total control. And by the time you realize it, that, hey, we got lied to, it's too late. That's why I just want to take some liberals and shake them and go, you understand, especially many of you who live the so-called alternative lifestyle. Right after the MAGA, you guys are going to rise to the top of the list. You don't even see it coming. It's a shame you don't even see it coming. But it will. In any event, 2 speeches back to back talking to people of Israel. Wake up. The Teamsters woke up. The UAW woke up. Many men have woken up. Lots of black people have woken up. Lots of Hispanics have woken up. It's time for the Jews to look at this thing, big picture item, and realize if you don't vote for Trump, you may not have a homeland. It's that simple. And how I would look at it is, are you willing to roll the dice? Are you willing to say to yourselves, I don't think it's going to be that bad with Kamala. Okay, good luck with that. You good luck with that. Yeah. Thank you, William. If you're not understanding history, and as they say, history always repeats itself. It just keeps coming back. And just watch. Go back, read some history books, find out what they did to this group of people and that group of people, even though they promised them this and that. There is no way that anybody who aligns themselves with Hamas and the Palestinians are going to want to have anything to do with your alternative lifestyle. That's why you're going to get the Express. Because once they get rid of the MAGA, because we actually probably align better with the nuts. They want nothing to do with. They don't even want to have a discussion with you. They don't even want to convert you. You're not even an infidel. You're an animal. There's something wrong with you as far as they're concerned. You don't even have an idea. Go ahead and put your scarves on and play cosplay and think it's fun until it's not fun anymore. Yeah, Delilah, they don't even know. Any black person who would vote for the Democratic Party are the enemy of this country. Makes no sense whatsoever. I'm trying to find what demographic group betters themselves by voting for this nightmare called the Democrats. I mean, there's a single issue that seems, when you watch her stuff, I'm sure some of you guys will see some of the videos, there's one single issue. They want to call us cults. There's one issue that's galvanizing these nuts. And it's not even Orange Man. It's baby removal. It's like they will run headstrong off the end of a short pier just so they can retain baby removal. Man, what kind of hypnosis did you guys go through where that rules your life? You didn't have any problem running around getting stuck in the arm and losing your job because you had to take that thing. Well, it's my body, my choice. Really? Okay. Okay. These idiots think it's cool to watch Cackling Hyena. Yeah, well, she's only talking about one thing. Those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. Absolutely. Dear Barry, my Hispanic family, cousins, her husband, her siblings, my brother, men, and dad are all voting for Trump. Whew. That's what has to happen. And I know how tough it is to go through. Yes, and baby removal, in my view, does do that. But there's no such thing with me or with any normal person that it's a one-issue race. Why would I care if it's just one issue? If for some reason Trump said I'm going to raise taxes to, 35%, you going to stop the newcomers? Yeah. You going to stop all the unnecessary spending? Yeah. You're going to stop censorship? Yeah. Okay, let me think about that. Because I have a brain, I have to sit back and think. What am I willing to give as long as I get this? What are you, as a voter, willing to give in order to get that? Sensible people look at things and go, I don't like everything. I don't like that he's teaming up with RFK Jr. I do, but there's people who got, he's teaming up with RFK Jr. The guy's kind of wacky. Okay, what's your alternative? Oh, I see, Kamala or this. Yeah, I'm going to go with this. The Democrats aren't like that. To them, they know she's not talking to the press. They know she has no policies. They know she has no clue what she's doing. She's got two qualifications. She's not the orange man, and she's willing to keep going with the baby removal. That's it. Everything else doesn't matter. How do we know it doesn't matter? Because they're living it right now. It's very hard for me to understand that people are voting for something that they don't like right now. You like paying high gas prices? You like paying high food prices? You like all that? You like higher rent and mortgages? You like all that? She's been doing it for 3.5, almost 3.75 of years at this point. So what are you voting? What is new? Why do you think something is going to change? Believe people when they tell you who they are. She's been telling you who she is for the last 3.5 years. Leopards don't change like that. The stripes just don't fall off. No, leopards have spots, Barry. The spots just don't fall off. Tigers have stripes. I knew that. But you think there's something different? There's another pot of gold over there? Where is it? How's she going to do it? Oh, she's going to tax the rich people. And the rich people are going to... Do you think there's enough rich people to cover all the crap that she's been doing? Then what you're saying is you've gone to college and have no idea about the most rudimentary rules of economics. You don't have a clue. You really are gone. Oh, she's going to pack the Supreme Court and she's going to do this and we can do whatever we want. How do you think that's going to work out? How do you think a one-party government system is going to work? You think everything she does, you're going to love it? You're an insane person if you think that they aren't eventually would step on something that you care about deeply. And I'll just rest my case with, hope you enjoy CDBC, CBDC, Central Bank Digital Currency. You walk up to the bank or do your transaction and you swipe that card and they go, you can't have any more gas right now. What do you mean? I got money in the bank. No, we're not approving that. Oh, they can't do it. You better go look into central bank digital currency. You go to the grocery store and you want the bonbons and Twinkies. No, We don't think right now, based upon us reviewing the algorithm, AI has reviewed your health profile and you shouldn't be eating bonbons and Twinkies. Go back and pick something else. Oh, that couldn't possibly happen. Really? Hey, listen, right now, they want to go after the right and censor memes. Gavin Newsom put together a law saying you can't possibly put up memes, and now I may have to try and arrest Elon Musk. Yeah, because Elon Musk is an ass. He wouldn't do that to me. Really? You think you're never gonna have an adversarial thought about the government? Ever? Well, if you can't talk now, what do you think it's going to be like if they got in office? She has already said, nope, I don't want anybody talking bad about the government. People don't need to wake up. Wake up. I'm on a call with a long-distance truck driver, $600 diesel every 2 days. Please give me the mean tweets. These people just don't get it. I would love, and the problem is that you can't even talk to these people. You know, it would be nice if you could have a discussion, but they just want to scream. You see trolls. I look at the trolls, I'm like, you don't even want to have a discussion. Censorship does not belong here ever. Nope. Petition for polygraphs. I draw a more informed crowd than Oprah, because at least the people who come here think. They do the research. It was so funny. I saw somebody 1,000 comments ago, and we talked about earlier, Nessun Dorma, the song that he played, and we talked about The Sum of All Fears, the movie. We were dropping some red pills earlier. If you didn't see that video, go back and watch it from earlier today. We were dropping some serious red pills. And I brought up, go watch Sum of All Fears. Go watch Telethon. Go watch The Manchurian Candidate. The first one with, what's his name? Frank Sinatra. And then the second one with Liv Schreiber. Watch them both. See what's going on. This stuff, and we found out today, somebody in the chat looked it up and said that the movie was 2002, but Tom Clancy wrote the book in 1991. And if you watch the movie, it's basically you're seeing what's happening in the world right now. It's happening. History is repeating itself. 1984, like I said earlier, Orwell thought it was a novel. The Democrats have decided 1984 is a manual. This is how we do it. It's right here. We'll just do what George Orwell says. And I'm thinking to myself, I had to read that book in high school. Aren't these kids learning anything? Because if you don't know what I just said, if you don't know what I just said about things being Orwellian in the book 1984 has become a manual, then maybe you need to question your teachers. And then you need to go to Barnes & Noble or Amazon and buy that book now. I mean, like right now. Read 1984. Everything I try to do on this channel has nothing to do with me trying to convince anybody. I never want to be that kind of person who's basically trying to show you think like me. Nope. I want you to say, no, Barry, I don't believe you. I think you're full of crap. I'm going to go read 1984. You know what? I think you're just a drama queen. I'm going to go watch The Sum of All Fears. And then you watch it, and like the woman earlier is like, oh, shit. Watch it with an open mind. Sit back and go, okay, let's watch this. Oh. Oh. You mean Ukraine and Russia get into a war and they try to deep state and does that? Challenge yourself instead of challenging me. If you have a problem with what I'm saying and you're like, oh, Barry's full of it. Okay. Instead of just doing that, letting shit throw up out of your mouth, go look. Go watch Telethon and see if it doesn't kind of remind you with what's happened with Trump over the last 2 assassination attempts. We all know that this 20-year-old kid didn't slide up on top of a roof, just walk down the street with a rifle, climb up there and go poof, take a shot. No, we know that's not what actually happened. Maybe you should watch The Bourne Identity and find out what happened with the Treadstone stuff. Oh, by the way, you really need to learn that. Don't listen to me. Go educate yourself. You might have some fun, actually. 1984 is a great book. But it's supposed to be just a book. It's not supposed to be an operating manual. And right now, that's what the Democrats are doing. Somebody heard me. I heard my thing back there beep. But just take it upon yourself. Yeah, learn for yourself. Don't let anybody, Trump or anybody, tell you what to do and just take what they say. You should be incumbent upon yourself to listen to what somebody says and goes, well, let me check that. Happens with me. Good story. I get emails constantly. The other day we talked about crypto, and I am a crypto neophyte. Self-admitted, have no idea, playing around. I said something, I got like 10 emails. Hey Barry, you should try this because what you said here isn't as good as if you try this, and this is what you need to do because I'm like, whew, okay, I got to dig in. I got to get a crypto expert on here to talk to people about it. I'm doing that myself, learning more about it. You know, the other day when Trump was in New York before the rally, he went to New York at a bar/restaurant and made the first presidential cryptocurrency transaction. Why would Trump be doing that? Well, we know he's got gold because you look at Mar-a-Lago, you look at everything. Oh, yeah, there's gold. Okay, so he's got the gold. And I'm sure he's got enough gold stored up like Fort Knox. And now he's like, what's this crypto stuff? Yeah, I need to get into it. Barron's driving me crazy. Barron knows all this stuff. And so I'm going to get into crypto. So what's he have to do? Learn it. He can't go out and talk about it until he learns it. He's talking already about the amount of electricity it takes to mine crypto. Did you know that? Start digging. Start looking at stuff. I'm looking for Sum of All Fears right now. Great movie, too, by the way. It's going to scare the bejeebies out of you. The woman earlier said it scared her. And it's not a horror flick. It's a action film. Really good movie. But it's going to scare you because of how eerily things basically pattern after what we're living. When you watch that, you're like, wait a minute, huh? Ukraine, Russia, deep state, trying to kill the president. Oh, yeah, it's like that. It's like that. You know what? Somebody goes, Israel. You know, I'm gonna put it up here. Israel's Netanyahu admin is a terrorist regime. See, this is typical. I bet you probably went to Columbia or something to learn that. And you think that you're coming in here and spewing something. Wow. Like I said, they don't learn. They're taught to go spew, but I could ask this woman like 5 or 10 questions and she wouldn't, Lady Justice, she wouldn't have an answer for it. None. But they don't want to know the answer. You need to be different. The government can remove gold, but crypto is forever. No, they can't remove gold. How are they going to do that? How are you going to remove gold? All the people who own gold across the world. No, but when it comes time to like basically have a coin and use that as trade, they can't take it. It's worse. It's actually worse. Yeah. Let's see. Just got done speaking to a gentleman in Springfield, Ohio. Where's that? He says the government is giving these newcomers 45-day driver's license with no proof that they can drive. You know why? It's 45 days. Oh, what happens in 45 days or so? They're setting it up. That's why it's got to be too big to rig. It has to be. I'm going to watch that movie right now. Thanks, Barry, for a wonderful program. Yeah, go ahead and watch it. It's what? 10 o'clock. Get some popcorn, some cookies, whatever. Enjoy it. And then come back tomorrow and tell me, wow, it is so true. Oh, yeah, somebody else put it. And yeah, then you're going to need to go read the Bible and then pray good night. absolutely. That sounds like a good one to end at. We didn't do our prayer night tonight because Trump scheduled 2 speeches, but I think you saw enough with the Israelis and what happened to basically, you have to pray. There's so much going on. All right, so let me go ahead and do my acknowledgments because they are extremely important, and it's not like I feel it to be burdensome. It's something I feel that must be done. All right, let's get through this. Hey, Bob. Hey, baby. She's taking the dog out. All right, so where am I? Let me go ahead and move this out the way. Pull this up. Where's my thing? Okay, let me just do this real quick. Alrighty. Boom. Thank you to Miko Rod. Trump should tell Secret Service he will be at the Blue Oyster Saturday night at 8 p.m. Yeah, see who shows up so he can figure out who the mole is. Wes and Robbie Vecchio. Hey, Barry, been watching YouTube for a long time. Thanks for what you do. My wife, Robin, and I just moved from Citrus County to Pennsylvania. You're awesome. Thank you very much. Terry Crabtree, thank you. Esme Barrigo. Esme Barrigo says, Texas for President Trump. He looked amazing. Yeah, love the gold. Everybody liked that gold tie tonight. Gino Frederici. Great job, Barry. Thank you, Gino. Robin Watkins, thank you. Marion Brindley, thank you very much. Corey Cobbler, thank you for your channel, Barry. You are a true patriot. Thank you very much. Kathy Mackey, thank you. Raphael Lawis, God bless you, Mr. President. You loved and appreciated American throughout the world, and Jews love you and support you. Z, thank you. Ultrafine Point, wow, thank you, man. 2 in a row. I'm proud to be a Tennessee Baptist and a Jew lover. We got to turn out to vote. Semper Fi. Anna Marine, I guess. Tina Garrett, thank you. Thanks, Barry. Bought $40 in Bitcoin. Look up Vince Everett Ellison. He's also exposing the evil Democrats. Will do. Let me know how that Bitcoin purchase. Just don't. You're not going to get rich, but you'll get in there and start realizing what you can do. Honeybee, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you very much. Thaddeus Brown. New York Mets, I support Israel, vote Trump. Mark of Reality, hey man, thanks for coming back in. Trump is right, we should not be handing the world's energy sector for psychopath nations, Russia and Arabs. They use the revenue to cause chaos. I don't care what the arms merchants want. Yep. Mike McCarthy, thank you, Barry. My wife and like so many Americans are behind Israel. We stand with Israel. Absolutely. Ozark Ghost Hunter, a friendly reminder that we not only have the right to defend the Constitution, but we have an obligation to do so. What do you think happens if they, decide they're going to pack the court if she got in somehow, and then decide to make your First and Second Amendment go away? Far-fetched? No, it's not. Ricky Metzenbaum, Barry, only thing overt about is the America left getting a hold of cell phone bombs technology and use it against MAGA voters as payback. Wow. Yeah, now that cat's out the bag, right? They know now that somehow you can basically get a pager and turn it into a bomb or a phone. Maybe we shouldn't be trading in our old phones anymore. We're good. I don't want a new phone. I'm good with this one. Or there's got to be somebody who comes up with a way that you can scan it or something to make sure there's nothing in there. Then again, you got to do that to your Nintendos and your Sony Nintendos, your Xboxes, your PlayStations. Shit. Whew. Dan Tana, I'm so sick of Oprah's cow face. Thank you. Ivan calling the pictures of Eastwick. John Plotkin, thank you. Imani Malik Butler, thank you. Thanks for the Lear Capital Connect. I spoke to Cal this morning. Question, do you think Trump will achieve a balance between supporting Israel and condemning genocide in Palestine / Gaza? Problem with those countries over there is that it's basically a blood oath. That if you read the Bible, it's not going to stop. I don't care what agreements put in place. There's always going to be some people there who feel like Israel shouldn't be around. And until they're taught and taught at a young age that you guys can coexist, they're always going to have problems. Think about it. How old you are right now. How long have the Israelis and the Arabs been fighting? Forever. It just never ends. It never will end. It's biblical. Susan McCauley, thank you. Just another knucklehead again. Thank you. Support the cause. Thank Barry and the extended team. Thank you very much. Maria Gutierrez, Barry, check out video by Forbes. We can't let this go. House Republicans rail against the UN and what? I got a pit bull out there, I guess. And World Health Organization. This is huge. Ruth McGurdy, I can't find where to become a member. We haven't put it up yet. We will be doing that shortly. Ashley had my grandson had a football game tonight, so she was there. Susan Endres, thank you. Barbara Farley. Lillian Rose, I think Trump had to lose in 2020 to awaken the masses. I believe that as well. God makes no mistakes. God bless and protect you, Barry, and everyone that watches your daily. And, of course, number 47, Trump, MAGA 24. Yep. Tommy Radcliffe, guitarist, please get out and vote. Absolutely. Edwin Mendez, love from Edwin and Celeste Mendez. Back at you. Jim Smith, Rush would be proud of you, Barry. You are now the voice for God. Dude, to even be mentioned in the same sentence as Rush Limbaugh is amazingly. Thank you. That's all I can say. I'm going to keep trying. Tom Adelstein, Kamala is married to a Jewish man that dislikes Israel. Think about that. His daughter hates Israel. Honeybee, I enjoyed listening. Thank you, Barry, family, and friends. Where'd that go? This guy. God bless you. Thanks for being a voice of reason through these times, Barry. Keep up the good fight. Thanks for all fighting for American and what America stands for. It's really important to me. Timothy Carter, thank you. Trump is for change. Patriot Rob. Kamala Harris, friends. Oprah, Weinstein, Oprah, Clinton's, Diddy. Yep. Maybe I'll dig in that tomorrow. I'm going to download some of her clips. Barry, I get all my political news from you. Thanks, Toy. Hi, Toy. And Michael Mullen, Ronald Reagan said, we are one generation from losing our freedoms. I know now what he means. Yes, we are right there. And people don't even know it. They're willingly doing it. If you had told me 10 years ago that America would be conquered without any enemy coming onto our shores, without any enemy firing a shot, I would not have believed it. We are willingly just signing away all of our rights. Hey, yeah, we don't need to talk. Just shut up the MAGAs, and we'll be all fine. Okay, that's how it's going to start. All right, guys, 10 o'clock. Thank you guys for hanging in for 3 hours tonight. Thank you very much. I'll talk to you tomorrow sometime in the afternoon. God bless you. Have a great night. Go watch Sum of All Fears. Start there.